The following is a presentation of the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Dallas set 4 players inside the 6-yard box. RSL keys the runs from around the penalty spot. They run towards the near post. Luna whips it in, headed away by Ibiaga. That's what he's in there to do. And now Sarver going the other way. Sarver splits 3 defenders. He's all alone into the RSL half. Here's Sam Sarver at full stretch. Sarver to seal it!
After 2 months of global soccer action taking over North America for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, FC Dallas grabs the baton as they resume play for the first time since May tonight. Sitting 5th in the Western standings after results from last week, Dallas looks to climb higher in the conference as they continue a 9-game MLS road swing against the Portland Timbers. Dallas hasn't won a regular season game in the Rose City since 2016. They'll look to restart league play on a positive note as the Burn take on the Timbers at Providence Park tonight. Along the lines of the FC Dallas Radio Network, it is the FC Dallas pregame show presented by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. On tonight's presentation, we'll take a look back at a historical moment in this Western Conference rivalry. Our broadcast team for the evening, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis, will join me. We'll break down the contest, lineup, statistics, tactics, everything you need ahead of tonight's MLS is back, I guess, for FC Dallas restart. But before we do any of that, we welcome in Steve Davis to restart the FC Dallas season part 2. And Steve, it feels like it's been a couple months since we've done it because it has been exactly 60 days since we did a game together.
Yeah, well, howdy, Sam. We had a little soccer tournament, a little soccer business to get through in that interim. And it was brilliant. It was everything we wanted it to be. And, I mean, those of us who have been invested and emotionally invested in the game's growth for years and years can be heartened by the mutual embrace between this country and soccer, but it's sad that it's over. But the upside is that we have plenty of soccer to love on and talk about and argue about, and some of it is right here with the 15 game schedule in Major League Soccer tonight, including the one we're going to spend a lot of time talking about.
And to put a bow on that wonderful tournament, obviously it was a smashing success here across all of North America. 66 million people watched Spain 2, Argentina 0 on the 18th on Sunday, and you know, obviously, this is probably a little bit of recency bias, but it's probably the best World Cup I can remember in my life tenure, as long as that has been. But I think without any sort of qualification, it was a huge success in general.
Yeah, no argument here. I think the recency bias is real. Look at every World Cup most of the World Cups I've covered, and there have been a bunch of them now. You come away just thinking it was the best one ever. But this one, I think it covered itself in glory in all the right ways.
It did. But now it's time to cover FC Dallas back in glory as they are getting back to business here. One of the later teams to restart as they've had a full slate since then. And for those just tuning in, maybe after 2 months or maybe for the first time, here's where we sit. FC Dallas is in 5th place in the Western Conference. They won 4 of their last 5 before the break. They're in very good position in the West, probably a little bit ahead of schedule, we might even argue, as they contend for a home playoff team. But, Steve, that comes with a question. With their strong start in the first half, does that change the expectations we had when this started off in late February?
Yeah, I'm not sure it changes the expectation too much because I think 4th or 5th is sort of where we saw this team. I think it's still where we expect them to stay. Where you bring the conversation now is this brutal road stretch that they're on where they won't be back playing a home game again until September. I mean, imagine that. It's going to be starting to get cool, we hope, around that time.
God, we hope.
Yeah, we really do. And so on the one hand, you would say maybe you temper expectations a little bit, but then you take the conversation to how good FC Dallas under Eric Quill has been on the road. So maybe you don't temper expectations. I don't know. I think this is where we saw them all along. They are a good team on the road, so I don't think it changes the expectations much for me.
Well, the starting 11 tonight that looks to reclaim 4th place for the Burn. Daniel is in net. Herman Johansson, Shaq Moore, Osaze Urigede, Nolan Norris on the back line. Joaquin Valiente, Christian Kappas, Kaike, and Patrickson on the midfield. Logan Farrington gets the start up top alongside former Portland Timber Santi Moreno. And the new name there, Steve, is Daniel. He came over in the middle of the World Cup in a trade with San Jose Earthquakes. Dallas will pay $300,000 in general allocation money. They'll toss some more. Could get up to $1 million if he hits all of his qualifications. And I think it was a little bit of a surprise, not that Dallas wanted to address their goalkeeper situation, but that they specifically went and got a guy that, for all intents and purposes, was performing pretty well for San Jose.
Yeah, well, look, there's only one reason you go out and get a veteran goalkeeper and spend some money to get him. That's because you're just not exactly happy with what your situation is at the moment. I thought Michael Collodi in his first year as a starter was okay, but there were some goals that maybe he could have done better on. I think there was some fault on a couple of goals against Vancouver in a game that Dallas lost at home. That one was sort of hurtful. Then in comes Sirois, and he wasn't totally convincing in his outings. So I think it's pretty clear why Daniel was signed, and I think he can be a very good goalkeeper in Major League Soccer. We've seen it before where he was a dominant goalkeeper in Major League Soccer before a big injury. So I think he can get him there again, and I like where the goalkeeping situation is now.
And any goalkeeper is just as good as the front four in front of him. And tonight you've got arguably your first-choice defense when it comes to Shaq Moore and Osaze Urgide in the middle, Herman Johansson and Nolan Norris on the outside. And, obviously Daniel will have to do the work himself, but he's got a very underrated, I would say, back four in front of him to help him keep some of those goals out.
I think the reason it's underrated, I agree. I think it's a good back line right now, or at least it was, 60 days ago. But I think it's funny because it's still sort of patchwork, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
Herman Johansson was brought in to be a winger or, outside midfielder. He's a right back now. Shaq is brought in to be an outside back. He's a center back now. Nolan Norris always been a tweener, but it's working. And now they've got somebody behind them that has to be really can be really good. I think the back five as a unit looks good to me. The question marks are going to be in front of them a little bit, but I know we're going to get to that.
We sure are. And one of the big question marks that people had coming in, no Petter Musa tonight in the starting 11. He is available off the bench tonight for Eric Quill's squad, but that's Logan Farrington and Santi Moreno making his return to Portland after almost exactly a year of departing for Brazilian giant Fluminense. And that's interesting for two reasons. One, I'm curious to see the crowd reaction for Santi when he comes out, although I have a suspicion I know what it'll be. But Logan gets another start, and I think it's safe to say it's been a career year for Logan. There is no replacing Petter Musa because he might be the best number 9 in all of MLS. In fact, I would argue he is. But if you have to replace him with someone, man, Logan Farrington's a nice replacement.
I'm pretty sure there's only one Major League Soccer player that scored a goal against England in the World Cup.
Oh, I believe you're correct on that one.
So, So listen, on Logan Farrington, I love how we're watching as Logan really grows into being a more productive striker. He's adding elements to his game. I think he's making better choices than he was, over his younger seasons, a little bit more combining. So halfway through the year, he's already matched his almost matched his number of goal contributions from last year. And look, they'll need him because we're to the stretch now where they're playing pretty much 2 games a week for a couple of months here. So they'll need Logan, they'll need Musa, they'll need others. So Logan, it's his time. Everything we said tonight is weird because we're going to say recently he's been doing well, but recently there's a big 60-day gap in there. So we'll see how people come back off this gap.
Yeah, they certainly will, and congratulations to Logan Farrington, who also signed a contract extension during the World Cup, so he will be here for the foreseeable future in Dallas, which is great news for everyone in red and blue. And, Steve, you mentioned it in front of that back line. No Ramiro tonight. The Capitao was out with a foot injury. He picked that up as the team was ramping back up to action out on the West Coast. So it'll be a couple weeks for the captain. Instead, it's Christian Kappas and Kaique in the midfield. And last year that wouldn't have been a problem because Christian Kappas was having a career year and, Kaique was himself. This year, almost the roles are reversed. Kaique is having a great year, and we're kind of working to find consistency from Christian Kappas. It's a strange little dynamic there.
It is, but look, it's important. I just mentioned how important depth is going to be, and right now they're looking a little thin right there. It's going to be time for Ron Benjamin to have to step up because it's Kappas Kaique tonight in there, but they can't go the whole way over the whole summer. It's going to have to be Ramiro's going to have to come back, or Swan is going to have to step in there. A young player, and or Ron Benjamin is going to have to get in there. So somebody else is going to have to fill those positions because there's going to need to be a lot of rotation.
And it is worth noting your 2 midfield reserves tonight, Ron Benjamin and the aforementioned Caleb Swan. Well, let's talk a little bit about Portland before we go to break here. They are coming off a high, to say the least. They resumed action 1 week ago today, and they went up to Lumen Field and absolutely hammered Seattle 5-1. Kevin Kelsey, a pair of goals. David Acosta pulled the strings. I mean, it was so bad that Brian Schmetzer has claimed he hasn't eaten or slept since that loss. I'm not sure if I quite believe him on that. That might be a little extrapolation there. but they currently sit 11th in the Western Conference with 17 points. Jack Cassidy is the interim manager. He will coach tonight. He replaced Phil Neville, who was fired on May 25th. But Marty Cifuentes will come in and presumably be here when Dallas plays this squad in Frisco later this season. But it's kind of hard to get a read on Portland because they've had some really good games like last week, but the first half of their season was mired in ups, downs, with no real consistency.
Yeah, that's the knock on the Phil Neville team, that they could be very good and they could be quite dire. It's not reasonable to expect that same level of performance that we saw in absolutely smoking Seattle the other day up at Lumen Field, as you said, 5-1. So who knows? A change in management, a freshening of roles, expectations. Players believe they're given another chance there. So and then you have the long break. So maybe it did shake something loose, maybe. But I still see a roster of a bunch of guys that were kind of part-time starters at other places. I'm not really in love with their back line. They're back five in there, including the goalkeeper. So, but they do have a good attack. And the other day, that game against Seattle, Kevin Kelsey, Anthony on the left, David DaCosta, Cole Bassett, they were cooking that night. And if they're cooking again tonight, Dallas got their hands full.
Well, someone that's always cooking is Steve Davis. You'll hear him on the call tonight alongside Ryan Figert. He and Ryan will join me again in our third segment to break this one down a little bit further. Steve, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Sam.
And when we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, we'll have This Week in FC Dallas history. This is FC Dallas Soccer presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
You push your body hard in the name of fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Winner, winner, Chick-fil-A dinner. All season long when FC Dallas wins at home, fans win free Chick-fil-A. Be sure your Chick-fil-A app is up to date and location services are turned on when you attend matches at Toyota Stadium. After the team wins, before you leave your seats, open the app to redeem the Chick-fil-A offer. Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show presented by Toyota here on the FC Dallas Radio Network. In our next segment, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis will join me to break down the lineups and tactics for tonight's showdown in the Rose City. But first, let me remind you or inform you about the FC Dallas Radio Network podcast feed available everywhere you get free podcasts. It's anchored by our post-game show, highlights, stats, analysis, everything you need about the game that was in 30 minutes or less, give or take. It's like a pizza in the 90s, except better because there are no calories in the FC Dallas post-game show. It goes live after the final whistle and it's uploaded shortly thereafter, so it's ready for your commute the next day, whether that's a weekday game like Thursday, or even on Sunday when you're going to church, or Monday when you're headed back to work. It's there for you whenever you need it. And we're in Season 2 of the FC Dallas Agenda, the flagship podcast for FC Dallas. Everything you need to know about the club can be found there. Ryan, Steve, and Garrett Meltzer host the podcast. They give you in-depth analysis, great hard-hitting interviews, previews, everything you could possibly need in roughly an hour. Those episodes drop normally on Wednesdays for normal match week, but keep your eye out for other dates based on breaking news or just this congested match schedule as we have now. And this year we've launched the Build Up, our FC Dallas game preview show. That comes out the day before matches. It's about a 20-minute time capsule for everything you need for the match that's coming. It's usually myself and either Ryan, Garrett, or Steve in some sort of trio, giving you the players to look at for the opponent, what's on the injury report, any big news from the week at training, and then key matchups, who wins, who loses, how they win, how they lose, everything you need in a little 20-minute package. Those come out just over 24 hours before the game kicks off. So how do you access all this great content? You go to your podcast provider of choice, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get great podcasts. Type in FC Dallas Radio Network and hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our great free content. And now it's time for Today in FC Dallas History. These teams have played 36 times in the past, Dallas and Portland have, including 14 years minus 1 day ago today, July 21st, 2012. It was at then FC Dallas Stadium. It was a big win for the home side FC Dallas, as the Shellis Hyman-led Burn beat the Timbers, who were then managed by Gavin Wilkinson, 5-0 in Frisco. Dallas got 4 goals that day from Andrew Jacobson, Jackson, Scott Seeley, and Ruben Luna, although the scoring was kicked off by Portland's defender Heiner Mosquera, but that was an own goal that gave Dallas the only goal they would need on that day to assume victory. Now, being 2012, almost every member of the roster has turned over from that matchup on both sides. However, there is one player left from that day who is still active and can play in tonight's contest. That's right, you guessed it, Portland's legendary midfielder Diego Chara started that night, played 73 minutes in the loss, and then was replaced by U.S. midfielder Brent Richards. Now, fun fact for those of you who aren't MLS sickos, Brent Richards only played 6 matches in MLS during his entire U.S.-based career, but 2 of those 6 MLS matches came against FC Dallas. But unfortunately for Mr. Richards, none of those 6 MLS matches were ever wins. When we return here on the FC Dallas pregame show, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis join me to help break down tonight's lineup and tactics. This is FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern. The future of medicine sparks here.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
This is Logan Farrington, striker for FC Dallas. Behind every goal, there's a team you don't always see. The ones keeping everything running, secure, connected, ready. That's General Informatics. From cybersecurity to smarter IT solutions, General Informatics powers FC Dallas with advanced technology support so we can stay focused on the game. General Informatics. Complex IT made simple.
Welcome back to the FC Dallas pregame show presented by Toyota here on the FC Dallas Radio Network. We've got about 20 minutes until kickoff at Providence Park, so let's go ahead and get you the starting lineups for tonight's matchup. And those starting lineups are brought to you by AdvoCare. We'll start first with the home side Portland Timbers and interim manager Jack Cassidy. It's James Pantemis in net for the Timbers tonight. Brandon Bai, Kamal Miller, and World Cup participant Finn Sermon for New Zealand, alongside Jimmer Foree on the back line. Former Colorado Rapids man Cole Bassett alongside Jose Caicedo in the midfield. Ari Lassiter, David DaCosta, and Anthony support Kevin Kelsey, who had 2 goals in last week's 5-1 win against the Sounders, up top tonight for the Portland. And now let's bring you the starting lineup for FC Dallas and second-year manager Eric Quill.
Daniel, goalkeeper, Brazil.
Herman Johansson, wingback, Sweden.
Shaq Moore, right back, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Osaze Origide, center back,
Netherlands, Nijmegen.
Nolan Norris, midfielder, Fort Worth, Texas.
Joaquín Valiente, mediocampista, Uruguay.
Christian Capis, midfielder, Houston, Texas.
Kaique, midfield, Brasil.
Patrickson, mediocampista, Ecuador.
Santiago Moreno, mediocampista, Colombia.
Logan Farrington, striker, Racine, Wisconsin.
And the subs tonight for Dallas: Lalo Abubakar, Ron Benjamin, Peter Musa, Anderson Julio, Sebastian Ibiaga, Caleb Swan, Sam Sarver, Jonathan Sirois, and Bernard Kamungo. And now let's bring in the voices of tonight's contest. It's Ryan Figert, it's Steve Davis, and Ryan, you experienced the World Cup a little differently than either of us did, as you were calling matches for the ADC commentary for FIFA. So you were right in the middle of it, quite literally. Your voice being heard by, probably millions of people, which must be a little intimidating. But now that you've had, 100+ matches of the World Cup under your break, how are you feeling about 2026?
Wow, it was a fantastic time, a great experience, obviously for me, but I think for the nation to fall in love with the sport more and more, and whether it was the fan bases that came to town and everybody got to experience, the Netherlands or Japan or whoever it was, they got to, sort of take all of that in, and then obviously the product on the field was outstanding as well. I think the highest scoring World Cup of all time. Caveat being there was the most games of all time, 104 total contests. Plenty of soccer for us to watch, but I'm glad to be back. And, a lot of soccer down the stretch coming up for FC Dallas too.
Well, as we look at this lineup, obviously the big news is no Peter Musa tonight in the starting lineup. He is available off the bench. But, Steve, it'll be Logan Farrington and Santi Moreno getting the start for Peter Quill tonight, or Eric Quill tonight. I knew I was going to do it. It only took me a minute. But obviously that gives a little bit of a different look to any opponent, because you've got Logan, who is more of a traditional striker, but is not Peter Musa, and Santi Moreno, who's been more creative for us than goal scorer so far this season.
Yeah, we'll see how it sorts out. I have to think some of this is just Eric Quill being clever and understanding that Santi Moreno will be motivated to play against his old club tonight. I think that I think you mentioned a while ago, I feel like the fans are going to embrace Santi Moreno. I think they appreciated him. I don't think he left on particularly negative terms, especially not where the fans are concerned. So we'll see how it works out on the field, but at some point I'm quite certain we will see the Moose tonight.
And another guy, Ryan, we might see is Sam Sarver. He had some really good performances in the friendlies leading back up to the MLS restart, including looking very bright against Orlando City despite the 2-1 loss at Mansfield Stadium. But that was a guy who was white hot before the World Cup break, and based on those friendly performances, there's no sign of him slowing down at this point.
Yeah, and I thought there was a chance maybe we would even see him in the starting 11 based on some of the lineups that we saw in those sort of warm-up friendlies. But I think this is his best role, right? Especially at this point in his career, he's shown the ability to come in and impact the game, score goals off the bench. And, we were talking about this before the show, that the idea that you could look over 60-ish minutes into the game and you see Sam Sarver and Peter Musa both ready to check into this game and cause absolute chaos up top, your team's top scorer and your most frequent substitute that's been able to make an impact wherever he's come in. So I think that gives Eric Quill some really good options for later in the game.
I feel like there will be some times, as we talk about the rotation ahead, that Sam Sarver will be a good starting candidate. I think it's what kind of a game are you looking for? Because if you're looking to manage the game through close possession, through management of space, maybe Sam Sarver isn't your guy. If you want a game built on chaos, well, may I introduce you to Sam Sarver?
Yeah, and I think particularly based on the high moments for this Portland team in the first half of the season, and then what we saw from them a couple of days ago against Seattle, you don't want the game to go end to end, particularly at Providence Park. They've got really athletic players in the midfield that can sort of eat up that ground. They've got guys like Anthony on the outside that are absolutely rapid as well. So I don't think you want the game, at least from the start, to be open and going back and forth like a basketball game.
And meanwhile, on the exact other end, if Portland does get loose, Steve, it'll be a new netminder in there in Daniel. We talked a little bit about the kind of the broad sense of him as he comes in. But now as we look at him ahead of his first official start with FC Dallas, obviously this probably says a little bit more about maybe Michael Colodi and Jonathan Sirois than it does Daniel. But based on what your history and seeing him in MLS, what do you think is a reasonable expectation for what people can expect from Daniel tonight?
Look, he's good with his feet. He's a good shot stopper. My question here is how well can he communicate with a back line that he's not as familiar with? I think if Ibiaga were in there, I might feel a little bit better about it. Osazi Urgide, for everything he is as a center back, he's maybe communication isn't on the top 5 of his power rankings of skills. Nolan Norris is still pretty young. Herman Johansson isn't really even a right back, so I am a little curious about how all that's going to go. I'd feel better if Ramiro was in there to, communicate with Gaikes, but so he's not, and they'll have their work cut out for him just to sort of manage that part of the game and to make sure that it will get better than whatever we see tonight. By the way, but tonight could be a little tricky.
Well, I talked a little bit about the bad run of form for Dallas at Providence Park going back to 2016 since they last had a win. But you know who had a win just 60 days ago? Daniel. He started for San Jose in a 3-1 win at Providence Park in his last game as an Earthquake. So some recent experience to draw upon.
And I think we'll probably talk about this a little bit more on the next FC Dallas agenda. But it is worth noting, Ryan, that this gives Dallas 3 guys that have started in MLS this year in their goalkeeper room. And traditionally, there's really only room for 2. So I think if Eric Quill is at the minimum looking to create competition inside the goalkeeper room, I think he's done a very good job of doing that.
Yeah, and I was looking back because sort of trying to contextualize this move and why they decided to do it. And, when you compare Michael Colodey's numbers last year compared to this year, you can see, the tale of sort of the 2 seasons. In last season, he showed so well. He was the number 1 rated goalkeeper by some of the advanced metrics in all of Major League Soccer. Granted, it was a smaller sample size, but still over 10 games played, and he was fantastic. He beats out Martin Paz, and then coming this season, he's about league average. And obviously with where this team is at and the form that they showed and, building around somebody like Petter Musa, the staff clearly felt this was a win-now moment, and they wanted to go get somebody who was performing right now, and that's Daniel. Daniel was one of the top 5 goalkeepers in the league in the first half of the season with San Jose. He kept 5 clean sheets. He was excellent overall and conceded less than a goal per game as San Jose was on their historic run. So they've got a goalkeeper who's in great form, who already knows the league, who doesn't count as an international against the roster rules, and I think it makes a lot of sense from that regard.
It really does. And, obviously, Steve, goalkeepers are one thing, but the defense in front of them is another. And you kind of already brought up, while I think Dallas has an underrated unit in front of Daniel today, there is some small holes that you could poke in that group. And one of them, I think, is through no fault of his own, Herman Johansson, who is still adopting to MLS. They're kind of sending him more of that bombing fullback, that kind of Griffin Dorsey type, where he goes up the field and they shift into that back 3. I'm curious, do you envision Dallas being a little bit more conservative with a brand new goalkeeper on the back line to try and protect him a little bit more, or is it more, hey, we got to play how we play regardless?
Yeah, I do expect him to be a little bit more conservative, not just because of what you just said, but because Anthony was very good the other day against Seattle. He plays over on the left side, or it's where he played the other day. I assume he'll be playing there again for the Timbers there tonight. So for that matter, I feel like he may be just a little bit more conservative in his approach, at least early in the match, to make sure that they get that locked down and make sure that the other day against Seattle, Portland was on it right from the start, putting a lot of pressure on the Sounders back line. So it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see him forward a lot to start.
Meanwhile, on the other side, Ryan, Nolan Norris gets to start at that hybrid kind of left back, left center back spot that Dallas is employing, and he's going to have his own problems because Ari Laster is on that other side, and he didn't have as much impact on the score sheet, he really did run Seattle ragged as well before he was subbed off. And that probably means it's not just going to be Nolan Norris, it's going to be Patrickson, who's starting at that left midfield spot, that are charged with reeling in Ari Lassiter.
Yeah, Ari Lassiter is an interesting player because I think wherever he's gone in his MLS career, and it's been sort of a long, winding road for him now in his sixth club in the league, he's always shown flashes, and I think he showed a really high watermark against Seattle the other day. Can he be consistent? He hasn't shown that throughout his career. So I wouldn't be too concerned with that matchup. When somebody like Christopher Velde comes into the game, their designated player, he'll play on the left. That might be one that I'm a little bit more worried about later in the game. He missed the last game because of the birth of his child, so he's back in and available off the bench today for the Timbers, just like Musa on the Dallas side.
Yeah, it could be some big fireworks late from both these teams as they're chasing a goal. Looking at the midfield, as we mentioned earlier, no Ramiro tonight. He's dealing with a foot issue. He is out. So that means Christian Kappas and Kaique will take the middle of the field for FCD. And, Steve, I'm curious, which of these do you think is more important? Christian Kappas finding his 2025 form or Kaique continuing his 2026 form?
Well, with Kaique, it's we've seen this year there's like 2 good performances, 1 bad one. Or one that's just okay, something like that. So last year, where I feel like it was maybe a 1-for-1, this year it's a 2-for-1. So I think you're going to keep getting that. He's still young. He a lot of his game is about energy, about covering a lot of ground. So and you can't sustain that, especially with the hot summer. So I think we know what we're going to get from him. for me, it's about Kappas. Kappas has to sort of get back to where he was. And I'm not sure what happened between end of last year when I thought he was one of the better midfielders, box-to-box midfielders in the league, and this year he lost his starting spot for a while. So I'm not sure where the disconnect was, but getting him back to where he was before is the more important one for me.
And before we move on, I think we just saw a couple of messages in the chat as we sit here on the Burncast. And if you're listening on the FC Dallas app, you can always come and join the conversation on YouTube with the Burncast about why Moose is not in the starting 11 today. He is available on the bench, but I think it's worth noting that he did not get back with the team until late after his extended break following the World Cup and qualifying and playing at the World Cup into the knockout round. So they're looking to build his fitness back up and potentially be, fit to start as soon as maybe even Saturday.
And I think people got to understand it's not just that, obviously they played the World Cup here in America, but Petar Musa had to go to Croatia to meet the team, come back to America, play all their games, then go back to Croatia and come back. So it's a lot of travel on a guy, that much intercontinental travel. That takes a toll in addition to playing some of the highest level football.
Yeah, and even if you're not playing a lot, Sam, it's an intense time.
It is.
Being it's an intense environment, and yes, those players need a little time off afterwards.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Portland here before we get to our keys to the match. Obviously, as we mentioned, they're coming in off a win last week. Phil Neville fired on the 25th of May. Jack Cassidy, he's here now. Marty Cifuentes will be in when his visa paperwork comes in, presumably by the time that Dallas plays Portland again in September. Big players for Portland tonight, obviously Kevin Kelsey, 7 goals, 2 assists, including a pair of goals last week against Seattle. David DaCosta is starting to find his groove. He's got 5 assists this year, including having some last week. And Cole Bassett, who was acquired midseason from Colorado, he comes in with 3 goals, 2 assists. And, Steve, I think he had a really nice game last week. All 3 players had a really good game. And those are kind of the 3 players that are really powering the Portland engine when they're firing on all cylinders.
I like David DaCosta. I think that people expected him to be like for Evander. He's not the same player. He wants to connect a little bit more. He wants to combine a little bit more. He likes operating in the half spaces. Evander was more of a goal-scoring number 10. Looking for his goals as much as he's looking to set up other people. That's not really DaCosta. So I like him, and I think he's one that Dallas really has to watch tonight. And by the way, I think it's 6 assists. I know there's different people count him different ways.
Yeah,
I looked up
packs are weird.
Major League Soccer has him with 6 assists, and so that's a good total over the first not even half the season.
And it is worth noting Evander did have another goal tonight for Cincinnati as they beat Vancouver 4-3 as MLS remains weird coming out of the World Cup break. And Ryan, obviously one of the big things to Portland is consistency. Under Phil Neville, they were the exact opposite. They looked great one game, looked like they never played soccer the next. Well, good news for Dallas. They looked great last week, so it kind of feels like maybe this is the letdown game.
I was going to say, I'm just really glad that, Dallas gets a chance to watch that game and to know what they're getting themselves into. Whether Portland reaches that level of intensity and performance again, Dallas isn't going to take them for granted, having watched that one on Thursday, and they came out flying. The midfield absolutely dominated Seattle, and that's a Seattle team that's missing some pieces but wasn't missing enough to put up that type of performance. And we talked about in the first segment how they felt actually embarrassed by the performance against their rival at home. So I think it's a great thing for Dallas that they got to sit and watch that game and realize that, 60 days ago, it doesn't matter. All that comes from that is the points you already have on the board. Mm-hmm. You're not the team you were 60 days ago. It's about the team you are tonight.
Yeah, and they also won't have the emotion of a rivalry game, of being the underdog on the road. There's a lot of things working against the Timbers tonight, even though Dallas has not won at Providence Park since 2016. Well, one thing that's never working against FC Dallas is the keys to the match. They are presented by Toyota. And for those, we go to Steve Davis.
Thank you, Sam. Number 1, you got to win those 50-50s. Interim manager Jack Cassidy stressed the point last week against Seattle, and sure enough, Portland just cleaned up on those ground and aerial duels, absolutely smoked the Sounders. So FC Dallas on the road. They don't have to win a bunch more the duels in Portland, but they've got to compete like hell and at least win their share of them. Number 2 is mine, the transitions. We've talked about how we don't know a lot about what Portland in evolution right now might look like, but we know for sure they are good at attacking in transition. 4 to 5 goals they scored against Seattle came fast after or on direct action after winning possession. So Dallas's awareness and positioning in possession, their rush defense has to be on point tonight. And number 3 is denied DaCosta. You see what I did there?
Hey.
David DaCosta, he really is a clever and elusive connector. When he gets on the turn and is able to face you up, that's when Portland's attack really speeds up a little bit. So if FC Dallas can deny the turn, make him absorb some contact and force him away from those central pockets, they strip away a lot of what the home team wants to do with the attack. And, Sam, it feels good to say again, those are the keys presented by Toyota.
Thank you, Steve Davis. Dallas looking for their first regular season win in Portland since 2016, when the last one at Providence Park. 2020 for the regular season, or for the playoffs, but that was the COVID year, so nobody really counts that. But that's going to do it for okay, well, fair enough. Steve Davis. Nobody but Steve Davis.
I'll let you tell Jimmy Maurer that one doesn't count.
I mean, I guess if I ever see Jimmy Maurer, we can talk. We can have a nice discussion over some cold drinks. But that's going to do it for tonight's pregame show. We'll take a break. When we come back, Ryan and Steve will get you ready for action. It's MLS After Dark, FC Dallas, Portland Timbers. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
It's been 60 days since FC Dallas snapped an over decade-long winless run in Colorado, and as we resume MLS play, they'll be looking to do the very same at Providence Park against the upstart Portland Timbers tonight. Dallas number 10 Santiago Moreno makes his return to face the Timbers Army nearly a year on since he left the club, and with Pedro Musa on the bench, it'll be down to Santi and Logan Farrington alongside him to provide the goals, and it'll be down to a new face in goal, Daniel, to keep the Timbers at bay at the other end. The 9-game road odyssey continues tonight in Oregon. Eric Quill leading the boys into battle in MLS play for the first time in 2 months. In the meantime, we had just a World Cup in between, and Steve, we took in plenty of the action. Undoubtedly, though, the best moment from an FC Dallas perspective, the man who's on the bench tonight, the man who's leading the team in goals, Pedro Musa, on the score sheet in Dallas against England. That was so cool. I remember us sort of talking about it. It's one of the things we do with the World Cup. We sort of, extrapolate. We dream a little bit. What if Pedro Musa was to score a goal against England in the World Cup? And you know what happened? He scored a goal against England in the World Cup. How cool was that? He'll just have to wait his time today to get back in action in the hoops, as he is on the bench and available for Eric Quill after he got back late from that World Cup camp. Dallas in their huddle right now, either side of halfway. The referee at the controls is Alexis De Silva. The referee is wearing all black uniforms as Dallas wears their DNA kit, which is the red and blue stripes across the chest. And the Timbers wear their light kit tonight. And it'll be Dallas attacking from right to left in the first half from our vantage point, and the Timbers attacking from left to right as the teams are out in formation. We're just about set to get underway in Providence Park. Don't want to make anybody in Dallas jealous, but we should mention there might be some weather in the Portland area. They are welcome to send some of that potential rain right here into north central Texas.
We'll take it.
The rain hasn't kept the temperatures down in Portland either. It's in the high 90s and dropping down into the low 90s around kickoff time tonight in Oregon. It's a heat wave across the country, and the action is heating up as MLS returns from the World Cup break. Santi Moreno in the spotlight for Dallas, his return to Portland, as he will no doubt hear it from the crowd. Some good and maybe some bad as well.
It feels a little weird. It feels like a start of the season as we come off this break. It feels like coming off preseason games, but I guess we have to get used to it, don't we? Because they'll be here again next year.
It's dropped back by Moreno all the way back to Daniel, and we are underway at Providence Park. Launched long by the new Dallas goalkeeper up towards the 18-yard box at the other end. Second ball corralled in midfield and lifted forward. Headed away from the top of the box by Finn Sermon for Portland. And Dallas have possession with Christian Kappas in the attacking half. And now Norris will move it back along to Shaq Moore, who wears the armband for Dallas. All the way back to Daniel, who returns it to Shaq on the left side. And Nolan Norris will send it up the left side. And you can hear some boos already for Santi Moreno, who received it and then was dispossessed. Dropped back to Pantemis, who launches it long for Portland. Controlled by the right back for Portland, sent high up into the sky, which is cloudy and ominous tonight in Portland as the ball turns over at the halfway line. Johansson passing forward out to the right wing. Logan Farrington turns back up the far sideline, combining infield with Joaquin Valiente. Left-footed pass forward, looking for the run of Moreno's, intercepted. And Portland have it now at the top of their own box, sending it clear. Shaq Moore tripped up as he went to retrieve the loose ball by Kevin Kelsey, and the first free kick of the game goes Dallas's way.
Yeah, it's not even 90 seconds yet, but very fast pace initially on this one. No, what they call that feeling out process. This one, both teams looking to press and looking to get after it right away.
Saze Aragide back in the lineup after missing the last game before the break. Finds Christian Kappas still halfway into the Dallas half. Now out to the far side and brought into the attacking end by Johansson, who's trying to tiptoe up the far sideline. It's out off Anthony for a throw-in, taken quickly by the Swede. Dallas keeps possession near halfway. Valiente plays it back out wide to Johansson from where he took the throw. And now they'll switch the point of attack along the center circle and across to Nolan Norris. Back into the attacking half, advance from left back. And anytime you hear the boos, you can know that Santi Moreno's on the ball as Osaze Aragide lifts it forward under some pressure, spinning towards the top of the Portland box. Right out to this right side, and Brandon Bye will play it forward. Now just shy of the halfway line on the turn, Cole Bassett. Short combination just past the sliding Christian Kappas. Aragide up against Kelsey, able to at least put him off and force Portland backwards into their own half.
Some of that aggressiveness we know Urguide is capable of as he came about 20 yards off the back line to make that challenge.
David DaCosta in the left center channel, the Portland attack. Now with Anthony coming in field on the dribble in the center circle. Played along the ground to Brandon Bye, who keeps it moving out to the right wing. Now receives it back at the halfway line. Portland will recycle it across the back line. To the far sideline, played ahead for Anthony, who's a loose pass gets given away to Logan Farrington here in the attacking end for Dallas. Nice 1-2 with Moreno in the middle of the field now. 5 yards shy of the top of the 18, still in possession. He turns and plays it back to Kappas. Here's Kaique, 40 yards from goal, plays it along the ground through the middle. It's intercepted there by Caicedo, and now the Timbers will look to break up the right side. Shoulder to shoulder with Urguide and Kevin Kelsey. It's out of play off the Dallas center back for a Portland throw, and they'll take a moment here to slow things down.
And we probably should mention it's, as we suspected, it's straight 4-4-2 for Dallas. It's Moreno operating up front with Logan Farrington. Nothing too unusual about this one so far. Delgado left, Valiente right, Kappas and Kaique in the middle.
Portland in possession on the near sideline, and the Dallas end. It's a loose pass from Bye given away, and now a combination through the middle as Dallas brings it into the attacking end with Moreno. He's dispossessed. Not the cleanest start for Santi Moreno in his return to Providence Park. Lost out there to his opposite, number 10, David DaCosta.
That's too bad, too, because that possession started with some nice hold-up play by Moreno that he gave it away as he got it back from Kappas.
And he's got it back here, picking up on a loose pass in the center circle, and now Dallas have uncontested possession in their own half. Pike dribbling towards the left center channel and turns and plays it back into the center circle for Kappas, who will scoop a pass out to the near sideline, received there by Norris, who bends the ball in behind for the run of Valiente at the top of the box. Lost his footing, but now it breaks from Moreno, slides it through towards Valiente, who is only just regathering his bearings, and it rolls through to Pantemis.
Santi Moreno picked up that ball a step outside the penalty area. I thought he was about to have a lash at it and try to make one more pass, and I think he can score from there.
Both teams loose, and maybe that's to be expected with the 60-day layoff. We've seen some weird results around the league, maybe none weirder than Portland's result on Thursday, a 5-1 thrashing in Seattle, their biggest ever win in that rivalry.
Yeah, a couple of days before that, we saw Dallas in a friendly against Orlando, and we saw a little bit of rust, a little bit of sloppiness. It led to some goals for the visitors from Orlando. So, as you said, it is a little bit like coming off of preseason.
Possession along the back line for Portland. Logan Farrington chasing as it's moved across to Finn Sermon, who also scored at the World Cup for New Zealand.
Scored against Egypt, I believe, right?
Correct. Here's another nice tackle in the midfield, this time from Uragide. Now he's driving forward to the top of the box. Breaks for Farrington inside the 18. Shot deflected up and over the bar for a corner.
Oh, Uragide came in and won that ball with a nice challenge in the middle. Gets the ball to Farrington. It takes one touch toward the inside and then unleashes a shot. I thought he just missed high, but I see now he's got the deflection. Marino was in on that tackle, by the way, that helped give Dallas the ball.
There's the block from Finn Sermon on what looked like a good effort from Logan Farrington. Delgado takes the corner short to the top of the box. Moreno bending ball into the area. Diving Pantemis. It's not cleared, and it skews over the line. Uragide was in the mix there, and the referee spots that it came last off him. It'll be a goal kick.
Well, it's a really nice cross swung in from Santi Moreno, and I thought there was some activity on the backside because it looks like Uragide looks like he's got a beat on the ball at the back post, and he gets taken down right at the back post back there by Brandon Bye.
Would not mind if they took a second look at that, because he was certainly the intended target and it was headed right towards him, but it looks like we'll play on as Pantemis launches it into the Dallas end. Header won there by Delgado, flicked forward, but then cleared back the other way by Sermon. Bouncing ball breaks for Shackmore at the top of the Dallas box, and he'll move it back to Daniel.
No, 7 minutes in, though. Good start for Dallas because Portland hasn't had anything like a sniff at goal against Daniel, and Dallas, meanwhile, has had a couple of good half chances.
8th minute, uncontested possession for Uragide, halfway into the Dallas half. He plays forward to Kappas, now out to the right side for Johansson. Just shy of halfway, played back to Kappas, who will now hit another switching ball off the left foot, bounces once before it's chested down by Brandon Bye. Possession turns over back to Portland.
Looks like Dallas is trying to get Nolan Norris a little higher than usual up the left side. I think Portland's trying to keep the game on the other side somehow. And Nolan Norris just sort of left alone to creep up the left side.
All the way back to Pantemis, who sends it up the left wing for Portland. Control possession shy of the halfway line. Caicedo, who was the one change for Jack Cassidy, in for Diego Chara, who's now 40 years old, and he's not going to play on short rest by the looks of things, at least from the start. Now walked forward by Kamal Miller. Out to the left side for Portland, still shy of the halfway line. A dangerous pass there, nearly picked off by Valiente, but it makes its way across the back line now for Brandon Bye at the halfway line. Right back plays it up the near sideline. Norris battling there with Lassiter. Last touch came off the Costa Rica international, and Nolan Norris takes the throw in backwards to Shackmore, who's immediately under pressure. Plays it back to Daniel. His left-footed ball is awkward and goes straight out of play, where it's brought down with a nice first touch by Eric Quill.
He still got it.
And he still got the red hat coming out of the World Cup break. Didn't pick up any new headwear over the 60-day layoff. Throw in for Portland is easily intercepted by Nolan Norris. Plays it up the near sideline. Sprinting towards it is Moreno, but it's cleared out of play by the Timbers. And it'll be a throw in the Dallas half for Nolan Norris once again. So play here in the 10th minute. Reminder, Dallas is attacking from right to left in this first half as we watch on Portland from left to right. It's possession at the halfway line. Delgado got out of the way as he was fouled, and now Moreno drives through the left center channel off the outside of the right foot. The pass behind Johansson. He'll retrieve it and play backwards towards the halfway line. Uriguide ahead to Ka'ike. And back once again to the halfway line. This time Shaq Moore quickly fires it out to the near sideline for Nolan Norris. Dallas have possession here in the 10th minute. Played forward to Delgado, who's up to his feet, good to continue. Bounce back for Kappas, so now bins the ball in behind the Portland black line, looking for Valiente. It's headed away by Miller out towards the far side where Jimmer Forey will walk it forward for Portland. Played ahead to DaCosta, getting turned and playing ahead to Anthony on the left wing, who bounces it back for Jimmer Forey. Be moved along the back line now for the Timbers.
Only 10 minutes in, but right now Kappas and Ka'ike doing a pretty good job in there, sort of controlling midfield. Bassett, DaCosta, and not really Casero, not really having much to say about it so far.
Anthony held up there by Johansson, who gives the referee a thumbs up as he's whistled for a foul. Got a little bit too handsy and too tight there. Johansson, who was with Sweden at the World Cup, didn't see action. They bowed out in the round of 32. Here's a cross from the Portland left side through the Dallas 18-yard box, retrieved by Nolan Norris. Played back to Daniel, whose left-footed ball this time finds a teammate. Patrickson couldn't keep hold of it. Breaks back for Nolan Norris, deep in his own half on the Dallas left, up against 3 defenders. Does well to come away with it and find Patrickson. And now Moreno in midfield for Dallas. Finds Ka'ike dribbling towards the near side. Now he's got it back once again, just shy of the center circle in the Dallas half. Ball along the ground out to Johansson, making his way forward from right back. Finds Moreno in the right center channel this time. Gets it out wide towards Valiente, deflected on the way out for a Dallas throw.
Moreno almost lost the ball again, got a little sloppy in possession. Looks like he may be just a little jittery tonight. Can't be easy going back home where you sort of made your MLS bones.
Johansson waves everybody forward. Looks like Dallas is going to try a long throw in here. Not something we saw too often in the first part of the season. But he does launch it in towards Uriguide, who's forward. It's headed away by Miller, back out towards Johansson. And then upfield on the second ball for Portland. Back into the center circle. Shaq Moore in possession. Norris and Kappas on this near side. It's bending ball in behind. Patrickson will give chase, but it's going to be caught there by Pantimis inside the area. Across the top of the box in the Portland half, and Kamal Miller plays it out to the Portland left for Forey. Ka'ike stepping in and commits the foul there on DaCosta right on the halfway line. Looked like he was trying to hop the passing lane there, and he's going to have a quick conversation with the referee.
Looks like in terms of the press, Ryan, both teams maybe have the same idea. We'll see if it changes, but it looks like both teams want to see if they can win the ball back immediately, but if they can't win it back right away, then they just drop into sort of a mid or low block.
I think Ka'ike had a good argument there.
I thought he did too.
Portland take the free kick and move it backwards along the back line. Finn Sermon halfway into the Portland half, switching it across to Miller. Canadian, he was one of the last cuts off the World Cup roster for Jesse Marsh. Here's a nice burst of speed on the left wing for Portland. It's Anthony up against Ka'ike and Johansson. He flicked it up into the air, and it came off the arm, I believe, of Ka'ike.
Yeah, really nice spin there to get around Johansson. Ka'ike that was really quick to get over and help his right back teammate.
That was Johansson, and it didn't really even hit the arm. I'm not sure. The referee was well positioned, and when you're flicking it up towards the opposition's arm, it really shouldn't be a handball anyways. But it will be a wide Portland free kick for DaCosta or Ariel Lassiter. Daniel in conversation with the back line, setting their line around the top of the 18-yard box. It will be Lassiter with the left foot in towards the back post, headed back in by Brandon By. From the top of the 6, Kappas nods it outside the 18. And Portland now working it backwards. Jimmer Forey back to Lassiter, the original taker, who lifts it out towards the near side. And Brandon By unable to control it. It spins out for a Dallas throw near the corner flag on the near side.
That's a nice little lofted ball out to Brandon By, who's by himself on the right, along the right touchline. Looked like he started trying to figure out what he wanted to do with the ball and took his eye off of it and just flew right by him.
Well, he's the player that they look for on set pieces, and he got the first contact on that free kick moments ago. So he freed himself up. Norris takes the throw in for Dallas up the near side to find the chest of Logan Farrington, who keeps possession up against Finn Sermon, but then runs into Caicedo, who has possession back for Portland now. Halfway into the Dallas half, out towards the near sideline, where Lassiter's darting infield onto his favored left foot, chased by Delgado, switches the point of attack to Costa to the top of the Dallas box, where Kelsey's dribbling backwards. In the left center channel of the Portland attack, and now he passes back to the halfway line. Lifted out towards the left wing by Miller. Brought down there by DaCosta. Valiente defending wide to the 18-yard box. Faked it onto his right foot, now dribbling out wide on the far side. Back to the top of the box, looking for the 1-2. And DaCosta goes down. Referee had to think about it. Valiente appeals for a yellow card for DaCosta for diving. A lot for Alexis De Silva, the official, to think about.
That's a little give and go, and we'll see if there's any contact here. We get another look at it. Yeah, there's not a lot there. There's a little reach out. I believe it's by Valiente. And it's not. It's not a lot of contact though.
Dallas restarts play quickly. Urquieta hitting a switching ball towards the near side. Brandon By winning the header over Norris. Stepping in, Shaq Moore gets it away from Lassiter, out for a Portland throw. Eric Quill waving the team across.
Switching ball from Urquieta, really lofted up. I mean, you gotta zip those out there, otherwise you get guys in trouble. What they call is that what you call a hospital ball, Ryan?
Something like that. Brandon By is not the tallest player. He's just under 6 foot, but he can jump with the best of them in MLS, and he's already shown that in the air a couple of different times in the opening 17 minutes tonight. Played from the center circle by Portland out to the left wing, and Anthony now running at Johansson to the top of the box, slips it in behind, and it's going to be covered up by Daniel, intended for DaCosta.
I want to say Anthony had just a couple of touches, DaCosta a couple of touches early, but now they're starting to find little gaps in that Dallas midfield and back line.
Throw in for Johansson. Fires it up towards the halfway line. Brought down there by Delgado. And now Kaique hits his first time ball to Nolan Norris on the near side, who's advancing towards the attacking third as he brings it down. Turns and plays it backwards. Back to Kaique just beyond the center circle. Nice combination through the middle between Moreno and Valiente. Moreno on it. Kappas from the tip of the center circle. It's a driven ball out to the foot of Nolan Norris, and the attacking third on the near side. Back for Delgado, who will swing it through the midfield now. Kappas back to Urquieta. Urquieta closed down by Anthony. Now plays it forward through the right center channel. It's intercepted there by Forey. Played ahead to Kelsey, who keeps it. And now out to the right side. Here comes Portland. Ariel Lassiter is going to run at Nolan Norris as the Timbers are in the attacking third. Delgado shows help defending as Norris blocks the cross, and it will be a Portland throw.
That was Portland's real first opportunity in transition, and Dallas did a good job of getting 8 guys back really quickly.
And Norris not conceding the corner, but the throw in instead. Brandon By takes the throw to the feet of Lassiter, who tried to return it to him, and it's just a misplaced pass. Out for a Dallas throw now.
It really is weird the way Portland's defending. They defend centrally and they defend their defensive left side, and they're just giving Nolan Norris the entire Dallas left side to just creep up there at will.
Contested possession along the near sideline right in front of Eric Quill. Eventually runs out for a Dallas throw. It'll be Norris again in the 20th minute. Up towards Farrington, who's Unable to get that one. It was Sermon who volleyed it clear, but then quickly ahead to Moreno, who brings it down in the chest. Now driving forward. Slipped out to the left side for Farrington. Into the 18. Farrington to his left foot. Fires it off the post. And it'll be a goal kick. Or was there a touch from Pantemis? There was. So saved by the Portland goalkeeper onto the post, as Farrington unleashed a shot from a bad angle on his weaker left foot and still nearly found the net.
Yeah, he does a good job there. A little step over, creates a little bit of room over on the left side. Like you said, it wasn't the best of angles, but he almost caught goalkeeper James Pantemis cheating out just a little bit. Really, Finn Sermon, that wasn't looking the best there on the defending.
Corner kick comes from the near side for Patrickson Delgado. Last time they tried to roll it to the top of the box. This time that's marked. Delgado raises a right arm. In swinging service towards the near post is headed away, and they'll do it again behind for another Dallas corner.
Yeah, Patrickson Delgado's set pieces can be a little bit of a mixed bag, but that was a good delivery. Zipped in right about the right spot at the near post. Portland doing well to just get it over the end line for a second corner kick.
Valiente offering a short option, and they do go short. It's Valiente's left-footed ball in, looking for Christian Kappas, headed away and retrieved by Kaique. Bending ball in from Kaique to the top of the box, headed away by Sermon. Up towards the halfway line. The Pitbull wins another header there for Dallas. But it's the Timbers who have possession, and a foul whistled against Urquide in the aftermath. Played out to the halfway line for Lassiter, who goes back into the Portland half once again. All 3 shots in the game so far for Dallas, 3 corner kicks as well. Timbers started slow, gave up a goal that was chalked off for offside against Seattle, and then blitzed them for 5. But Dallas has controlled the opening 20 minutes of this game well, and their return to action after the 60-day layoff. It's moved along the back line. Sermon under pressure from Farrington, who nearly was able to pick his pocket. It's back to Pantemis, who will launch it long for Portland. Right through the middle of the field, and it spins through for Daniel as Anthony gave chase. Rolled out to Shackmore and played back once again to Daniel, who, if you missed the pregame show, is playing his 2nd straight game in Portland. He was in the win column with the Earthquakes, his former team, to conclude the first part of the MLS season, a 3-1 win in which he had 6 saves. Acquired in a trade in the interim, and now he's the new #1 for FC Dallas and Eric Quill, though he wears number 42, as none of the Dallas goalkeepers have been given the #1 shirt. Dallas making a little bit of mess of things and concede a throw-in.
I think Urquide got that ball a little bit wide, didn't really have an angle to get the ball into Johansson, and Johansson sort of let it fumble out of bounds.
And taken back into the Portland half. They're in possession with Sermon. And Caicedo turning on the halfway line, playing it out to the Portland left. Jimmer Forey down line for Anthony, looking to combine in that triangle with DaCosta. Farrington sticks a foot in, pokes it out for a throw. Farrington leading the line today. Signed a contract extension over the break in action. 6 goals and 4 assists already to match his career high in goals. Surpass his career high in goals, sorry. Now it's DaCosta in the left center channel for Portland in the attacking half. Bending ball in out towards the near side. Brought down off the chest by Lassiter. 1v1 here with Nolan Norris. Wide of the 18. Plays it back to the top of the box, and now wide again for Bai. Bai back to Bassett. First time ball bending in off the right foot. Headed up by Kappas and out of the 18. Second ball won there by Caicedo. Again moving out towards the near side. And Bassett tries another bending ball in off the right foot. This time deflects off Patrickson, behind for a corner.
Second important defensive header clearance by Christian Kappas in there, and he may be down. Somebody's down inside the penalty area. Looks like maybe that's Nolan Norris.
It's not Norris. I think it's Herman Johansson.
Seems to be in some distress too.
The team is gathered around Herman He's down prone inside the 18-yard box. Maybe something that happened as they defended the previous cross in. He's holding his neck as he's now being attended to by the training staff. Take a look at what happened. Oh, a shove from Kelsey up into the head and neck area.
Kelsey might be in trouble here.
Johansson.
There's just a little bit of jostling, and all of a sudden Kelsey put two hands up, and if you get him up, if it's in the throat area, that's it's a red card.
There's already one moment where we thought VAR could be called into action in this game. VAR today is Edvin Jurasevich on a potential foul inside the area in the opening minutes. No indication so far that VAR has given a recommendation to the referee, which would be bad news for Dallas in a couple different ways. It would mean that Johansson's going to have to wait off the field here because there was no yellow card or greater shown to the player. In fact, there was no foul called at all. And with Herman Johansson at 6'4", he's obviously very important to defending set pieces, which they're about to have to do.
I mean, that's the other thing. If you get up into his throat, which I think Kevin Kelsey did, you got to reach up to do it. I mean, it's almost like you can't say you've accidentally done that.
Well, we've seen cleats into the upper chest of Herman Johansson
That's
once
true.
already this season, not given a red card. So maybe a two-handed shove is just fine. It's just fine. If it's Herman Johansson, it's fine.
Honestly, if it's a two-handed shove in the chest, it's not much at all. But when you get into, by law, if you get into the head, neck, face area, that is a no-no.
Herman Johansson shaking his head as he's now back to his feet. He's making his case to anybody that will listen, including the fourth official, who's the very experienced Alan Chapman. He's going to hold Herman Johansson as Dallas will now have to defend the corner a man light. Ariel Lassiter standing over it. It'll be an in-swinger off the left foot. Whipped into the top of the 6-yard box, headed away by Farrington, out of the box to the other side. And now back towards the halfway line where it's lifted back out towards Lassiter, the taker. Set down for DaCosta. And now played back in the right center channel. Bending ball in, flicked along by Kelsey towards goal, but way off target. And it'll be a goal kick. And hopefully Dallas back to their full contingent as they await Johansson. First shot, I believe, of the game for Portland there with the off-target header for Kelsey. And Johansson still waits.
I'm going to say Kevin Kelsey is a pretty lucky man right now.
It was in the high 90s to start today, but it's now below 80 degrees in Portland, and no need for a hydration break as we've played past when that would have been called. It's sent long by Dallas and bounces through to Pantemis in the 28th minute.
Well, the good news for Dallas is almost a half an hour in, and Portland has had very few good looks, really nothing like a good look at goal.
We've got possession now, just into the center circle in their own half. Caicedo keeps it moving along the back line, now out to the right back. Brandon By at the halfway line, played forward through the right center channel, along the ground, intercepted by Shaq. His left-footed clearance is sent up into the air. Shaq goes flying there. He thought he got a shove from Kelsey, who brings it down on the right side for Portland. And it's played off of Kappas and out for a throw. Throw taken backwards up the near sideline. Bassett working with Brandon By. Bassett, the longtime Colorado Rapids homegrown, traded in February to pastures new in Portland. Moved out to the left side for Anthony, plays it back for Forey. 10 yards into the attacking half for Portland. Now up the left wing, here's DaCosta, who will run at Johansson, back on the field now. Wide to the 18-yard box on the far side. DaCosta cutting in field now, moving diagonally backwards towards the middle. And now back out to the left side. Forey cuts back, faking the cross. Now into the top of the box, DaCosta bending ball off the right foot, bounces near the penalty spot. It's a sliding Shaq Moore who sweeps it clear. Possession stays with Portland out towards the right side. Brandon By with a loose pass intercepted by Christian Kappas. He's looking for a way out of pressure here and just runs it out over the sideline for a Portland throw. Taken quickly into the middle of the field for Caicedo. And now out to the left wing. Anthony will run at Johansson again. Valiente back defensively to help out as well as Anthony will pass backwards. Caicedo looking to make a triangle out on the left side for Portland, now working it through the middle. And Finn Sermon has it, right side of the center circle. Out to the near sideline. Lassiter passes into the middle. Again, Kappas able to break it up. Now a quick combination. Moreno puts the ball over the top, but Farrington had made his run out towards the right wing instead, and it bounces through for Pantemis.
Over the last 10 minutes, it's been Portland now pushing Dallas back. Still haven't had a lot in terms of opportunities against Daniel.
Wide on the left side in the attacking third, it's Anthony. Up against Johansson again.
But DeCosta sort of slid himself out to the left a little bit more, so he's working more and more with Anthony over there.
Portland switch the point of attack out towards the near side. And now move it back into the middle, center circle. It's Finn Sermon, who wears the captain's armband today for Portland, just 22 years of age. With Diego Chara, the usual captain, on the bench. Sermon has it once again. Mid forward through the middle. Kelsey with a loose pass all the way back to Pantemis. Not sure that was the intention. Just shy of the halfway line. Portland on their left side. Play out to Anthony. Anthony, who released the pass and looked to go in behind for the 1-2, ran into Johansson, who's getting the 1-2-3 no more from the referee right now.
I remember two. Was there a third?
I don't think there was a third. The third was maybe him getting shoved in the neck.
Yeah.
Herman Johansson's frustrations with the refereeing in the first part of the season have rolled right on over post-World Cup break.
What did referees have against Sweden?
Not sure, but it is a strange phenomenon. It's played forward up the left side for Portland. Foot race to get to it, and Uriguide gets his body in the way, takes a shove in the back from Forey, and it'll be a free kick for Dallas as they were nearly exposed out on that far side, but Uriguide doing what he does best there, coming across and just putting out the fire.
Yeah, it was weird though, because it looked like Uriguide saw that a little late, and then as you said, once he got the legs going and he got there and got his body's position correct in front of Forey. I tell you somebody I'm looking for right now. It's been mostly Santi Moreno handling the ball ahead of Kappas and Kaike, and it's actually been a pretty good triangle they've formed, but Valiente right now has 3 touches. That's not a lot, to be clear.
33 minutes into the game. Moreno wearing the number 10 certainly has been the playmaker so far. Had a little bit of a rough start in his return to Providence Park, but he's grown into the game. As it's sent long by Pantemis up towards the halfway line. Uriguide wins the header. Second ball breaks for Portland. Move it out towards the near side. Halfway into their own half, it's Finn Sermon. Sermon back on it once again. Dallas dropping into their own half defensively. It says played up the near sideline. Lassiter quickly closed down by Norris. Moves it backwards into the Portland half once again. Forey closed down by Valiente. Plays it up the far sideline to Anthony. And here's the speed of Anthony in behind. Kaike defending from the wrong side. Cutback ball for Kelsey, who slips as he shoots. And the opportunity wasted there for Portland. Uriguide clears. Farrington has possession on the far sideline, just shy of the halfway line. Moved into the middle for Kappas. Kappas spinning ball out towards the near side. It's going to be retrieved by Patrickson. And the best moment there of the first half for Portland was wasted as Kevin Kelsey, off a 2-goal performance against Seattle, just slipped and hit his plant foot with the shot.
Maybe in one of those balls where he sort of gets stuck on the turf somehow, but yeah, Dallas definitely caught a break there because he was about to hit an uncontested shot at about 10 yards.
Right up the near sideline for Norris, who's just into the attacking half. Knocks it out off a bye. And it will be a Dallas throw. And that time, Urguide came across on that attack moments ago to try and cover it up, and that allowed for Anthony, with his speed, to sprint in behind. And it's a good ball back from Anthony, and really nothing wrong with it. It's just Kelsey losing his footing.
Yep, I think you're right. His plant foot, as he goes to hit that left foot, his plant foot, his right foot just slips.
Dallas will have another throw in for Nolan Norris from a similar spot, about 5 yards into the attacking half. Taken backwards for Shaq Moore, who's playing as the left of the pairing with Urguide tonight. Fired ahead to Farrington, whose first time pass can't find a teammate. Urguide, though, winning it back, just using his strength there against Anthony, and now he sprints forward up the left side. Delgado opts not to play it to him, instead combining with Farrington in the middle. Delgado back for Kaique, who now fires it out to here's Valiente. Valiente wide to the 18, cutting back to his left foot. Passes backwards again for Kaique. Didn't spot anything going forward, so he'll turn and play it back. And Dallas center backs exchange passes either side of the center circle. Kaique from the circle will play it out to Santi Moreno, who's dropped in on the right side here. Continues to hear it from the Portland crowd. Now Valiente wide on the Dallas right. Johansson makes the run ahead of him. He cuts back and finds Kaique again, right center channel. Here's a switching ball in the air, out to Nolan Norris, headed back towards the top of the box, just off the mark, looking for Farrington. Farrington won it back there, but looked like maybe caught Ariel Lassiter.
I didn't think so.
I agree. I think there's been some really questionable decisions that have gone Portland's way in this first half. Lassiter just took a really poor touch and didn't even really appeal for a foul, to be honest. Not sure how that can ever be a foul.
I believe there's a, is that a little Santi Moreno?
I think there's an expletive at the start of the chant. If you listen closely, which
never mind then.
Yeah. Lifted up the Portland left, header won by Herman Johansson. Nice footwork from Urguide to find the pass forward for Kappas, combining with Kaique on the right side for Dallas. First time pass from Moreno, who's cleared out there by Kamal Miller, and there's the first yellow card. Based on the icy reception from Moreno so far, maybe the Portland fans won't mind that he left one on his former teammate.
Am I wrong? I didn't think he left on that bad of terms. Is that
no? It was not great. It was not great. From everything that we heard from Adam Sussman with the FC Dallas Agenda podcast earlier in the year, sort of detailed how that relationship came to an end. Much more of a breakup than a mutual.
Well, I knew he had some problems with management. I thought he was still somewhat liked by the fans, but I guess I'm wrong.
It's a free kick to restart play for Christian Kappas. High ball, switching it out towards the near side. Second ball breaks for Nolan Norris, still in the attacking half. Kaique fires it forward. Nice first touch and second touch for Valiente. Now ahead to Farrington. Back to Valiente on the left side. Fired in, palmed away by Pantemis. And it's spinning out, but it's going to stay in play. Valiente will retrieve it. I was wondering if he was offside, but looks like we're good to continue as Dallas move it backwards to Shaq Moore. Lifted ahead by Urguide out towards the left side where nobody had stayed forward, and it runs out for a throw. Norris winning it back quickly off the throw. Moreno bouncing it back for Shaq Moore, Dallas captain tonight. Kappas just shy of the halfway line, puts a ball in behind, looking for the run of Johansson. Pantemis out off his line, got a touch, and the offside flag is up against Herman anyway. And a nice look that time.
It was nice little backdoor run by Herman Johansson. Good ball chipped into him. Pantemis up for the challenge, though. Got out quickly and got on the ball. Got it with his thigh or maybe his stomach about a step outside the penalty area.
Portland quickly restart play and work it out towards the near side where Kaique puts it out for a Timbers throw. Just into the Dallas half. in the 40th minute here of the scoreless game so far.
Pretty low event game, really. I think your stat pack might have Dallas with three shots. I've only got 2 each for either team.
Moreno bending a ball up towards Farrington, headed away by Finn Sermon. Out towards the near side, Lassiter's going to hit a switching ball, looking for the run of Anthony, but overhits it, and it runs through for Daniel, who's yet to make a save in his Dallas debut. Kike receives it just shy of the center circle, middle of the Dallas half. Lays it out to Johansson. Return to the pit bull here. Ball forward off his left foot, up towards Farrington, headed away by Finn Sermon, who's had the better of that battle so far in the first half. Farrington, though, with the best opportunity of the game, striking the post. And now Portland bring it forward on their right. Cole Bassett combining with Lassiter, now wide with Brandon Bye. Up against Nolan Norris, being chased backwards. He'll pass it back to the halfway line for the New Zealand international Finn Sermon. Now Kamal Miller fires it into the feet of Kevin Kelsey. It's Shaq Moore who wins it back for Dallas. And now Santi Moreno drives through the center circle on the dribble. He's the furthest man forward here for Dallas with 3 Timbers around him. He's going on a dribble out towards the right side, eventually dispossessed by Jimmer Forey.
He just didn't have much help, so he just kept going until he got surrounded by 3 Portland, whatever yellow shirts they are.
Anthony now in the attacking third for Portland. Checks back for DaCosta. Now Bassett lines up a shot from distance off target. To Daniel's left. He watches that one wide of the post.
Bassett's got that in his bag. He can hit those from 22 or 24 yards.
Yeah, it's an Art Deco pattern on a pale greenish yellow kit with gray accents for Portland.
Yeah, well done. I'll take your word for it.
We've got white shorts and that same pale yellow green on the socks.
I always like Cole Bassett. He's good for midfielder, good for 5 goals, 5 assists a year. Looks like he's going to be one of these MLS lifers that you really can build your team around.
Bassett coming over in a trade from Colorado. A little bit surprised that they were willing to send out the homegrown, but got a good amount in return as it's fired forward by Dallas through the left center channel into the attacking half. Santi Moreno checks it wide backwards for Patrickson, and now into the midfield in the attacking half. It's Christian Kappas. Move back over the halfway line, and Kappas plays it forward from the left center channel ahead to the feet of Santi Moreno. Good ball movement from Dallas here in the middle third. Now it's ahead to Farrington. Moves it along for the run of Kike out of midfield. Tries to keep it away from Caicedo, but he's dispossessed by Finn Sermon. And now Portland look to counter up the near sideline. Bassett chops back and plays a pass backwards towards halfway for Ariel Lassiter. And Santi Moreno won it back from Caicedo and is whistled for a foul, and Eric Quill is just about tired of these decisions going against his team. It was another one where Moreno just poked it away from the Timbers player. We'll see if there was any sort of illegal contact here. Looking at the replay now, it's just Moreno getting his foot in the way and coming away with the ball. I'm really not sure. It's the reaction from the Timbers players maybe that's selling the referee. I mean, they've been very quick to yell and fall down theatrically. So far, Alexis De Silva's bought it. Caicedo in the middle of the attacking half for Portland. Moves it out to the near side. Brandon Bye plays it ahead for Lassiter. In the attacking third, looking for a 1-2 on the return. It's Nolan Norris sliding it behind for the corner. Full stretch there in the 44th minute.
Yeah, Norris just a little upset with himself. He made a really good challenge. Did a good job of tracking Lassiter, turning around. The only thing he did wrong is he wanted to put that ball out for a throw and not for a corner kick, and he just missed it a little bit.
Corner kick coming from the near side. It's the second of the game for Portland. Lassiter standing over it. Whips into the top of the 6-yard box, headed away by Farrington. Out of the 18, retrieved by Anthony, who plays it back towards halfway. Forey lifts it in the air towards the near side. Header won easily by Shaq Moore. Into the middle for Logan Farrington, who's now dribbling up the left side. He goes down, and he won't get the whistle. Back to his feet now, sprinting back in defensively as Portland switches the play out to the far side. Anthony driving in through the left center channel for Portland. His pass ahead is intercepted by Shaq Moore and played clear up the right side. Nice sliding tackle there for Kappas to move it up towards the halfway line. Possession still, though, with the Timbers. Wide on the left, Jimmer Forey coming forward from left back. Matched up 1v1 with Uriguide near the corner flag on the far side. Forey eventually losing his footing there, and now Moreno will just scoop it clear up towards Farrington, who brings it down with a nice first touch, turning away from two Timbers players. Brings it past the halfway line, and again, it's Farrington up there all on his own, and Caicedo comes away with it as we're into 2 minutes added on here in the first half. Nice work from Kappas to win it back, and now Valiente drives through the center circle. In the middle of the field now, checking his shoulders left and right, waits for help and cuts it back to the top of the box. Patrickson with the shot, and Patrickson opens the scoring on the stroke of halftime.
There's a lot of good work in this goal, Ryan. It's Valiente taking the space, and I tell you, don't underestimate the run of Nolan Norris on the left side as he's hustling to get forward. He's pulling a defender over there, so as Valiente moves the ball back across to Patrickson, just ahead of the 18, I thought the ball sort of got caught up underneath his feet, but he was able to dig it out, and I don't think Pantemis is going to be really happy with that one because it had great placement, but there wasn't a lot of power on that shot.
Well, it's a little jig for Patrickson towards the corner flag at Providence Park, and now we'll talk through the replay. Valiente driving through the center circle and into the attacking third, then a nice cutback pass into the D, and Patrickson from just about 20 yards placing that one to the left of Pantemis.
Just take a little deflection off of Finn Sermon right in front of him, maybe?
In any case, it's perhaps the most Patrickson thing possible to do very little throughout the first half, and right on the stroke of halftime, changes the game entirely. Dallas now lead 1-0 in the final seconds of first half stoppage time.
You have to say, though, it's not totally against the run of play, although Portland has had the better part of the play for the last 20 minutes. But Dallas, on the balance, has been just as dangerous tonight.
Big header won by Shaq Moore, nodding it towards the halfway line as we're past the 2 minutes added on now at the referee's discretion. As Portland have it across the back line, now out to the left wing. Anthony will drive infield. Johansson standing a couple yards away as it's rolled wide for DaCosta. Wide to the 18 on the far side. He's cutting infield, trying to cut back and gets to the byline. Scooped across in, is going to be caught there by Daniel inside the 6. And that should just about do it in the first half. Dallas 7 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws when scoring first this season. Winless in the 4 games in which they conceded first. And that is the importance of that Patrickson goal. It's punted long by Daniel. Farrington unable to hold it up, but it breaks from Moreno. Moreno goes for a shot from distance over the bar as he was up front all on his own once again, with Farrington out of the play. We've played now 3 minutes of the 2 added on. Caicedo in possession in the center circle, dribbling towards the Portland left. Forey runs into trouble at the halfway line, nearly dispossessed by Valiente, but he turns and plays it back. And here's Finn Sermon in the center circle. Referee has a check with a watch. Sermon drives forward. Sliding tackle from Shaq Moore, wins it back for Dallas, and that will do it for us in the first half. Logan Farrington strikes the post. Patrickson finds the back of the net in first half stoppage time, and Dallas takes the lead into the break. And their return to play, 60 days away, 45 minutes down in this one, and it's 1-0 at Providence Park. Take a quick moment to step aside, and we'll be back with first half analysis as you're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
You push your body hard in the name of fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
After 45+ at Providence Park, it's FC Dallas 1, Portland Timbers 0 as FC Dallas looks for their first regular season win in the Rose City since 2016. Hello, everybody. It is the FC Dallas Halftime Show brought to you tonight by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you tonight by Advocare, building champions together. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in just a moment by the voices of tonight's contest, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. But let's start first with your halftime highlights, and this one came in basically at the stroke of halftime, as in first half stoppage time, FC Dallas took the lead almost inadvertently through Patrickson.
Nice work from Kappas to win it back, and now Valiente drives through the center circle. In the middle of the field now, checking his shoulders left and right, waits for help, and cuts it back to the top of the box. Patrickson with the shot, and Patrickson opens the scoring on the stroke of halftime.
Patrickson's second of the season made it 1-0 Dallas as the halftime whistle came shortly after. Let's bring you tonight's halftime stats, and those are brought to you by UMB Bank. So far tonight, 4 shots for Dallas, 2 of those on target, 3 shots for the Timbers, none of those so far on target. 3 corners for the Burn, 2 for the Timbers. You've seen tonight 1 save for James Pantemis, no so far for Daniel in his official debut. 7 fouls for Dallas, 3 for the Timbers, just 1 yellow card that went to Kamal Miller in the 38th minute. And now let's bring in the voices of this one. It's Ryan Figert, it's Steve Davis. And Ryan, through 45, I don't think anyone really had much to write home about on either side. But then here comes Patrickson, who does what he does, just kind of pops up and, oh, look, it's 1-0 FC Dallas.
Yeah, it was a really good moment for the team, not just Patrickson there, because it starts with Kappas winning it just into the Dallas half, and strong tackle, then breaks for Valiente, who sort of takes it from there, driving through the center circle into the attacking third. And if there's one thing that he's shown so far in his first season for Dallas, he has the ability to hit that final pass and to have the composure in the final third. Maybe the knock against him is he's not involved enough, because he has that quality, and he showed it there, made the right passes. He had options either side and picked out Patrickson, who, one of his strengths is certainly finishing, and he showed it with a really nice, perfectly placed finish into the side netting. And I think it's just about just reward for a really good first half in which Dallas started strong, hit the post through Logan Farrington, and then sort of controlled the game throughout before finding that goal.
Yeah, 28 touches so far for Patrickson, including the currently leading goal. And, Steve, there's a couple players on FC Dallas that I think have shown out, one kind of on each side of the field. Let's start with one of the ones that Ryan mentioned. Nolan Norris, I think, even though the defense hasn't really had much to do so far, he has really had himself, especially in the last about 20 minutes, that half, a pretty solid game so far.
Yeah, he's getting up to left side a little bit more in the attack than we might have expected him to. At Dallas playing a little bit differently, but maybe they're just adjusting to the way Portland is trying to push the game to the other side. But I thought he's been very solid. The one handling of Ari Lassiter over there, the one time I mentioned that he won a tackle, probably wanted to knock it out for a throw and knocked it out for a corner kick. Otherwise, I think he's been very good, hardly a foot wrong.
Meanwhile, on the other end, Ryan, and we kind of expected to talk about this player in general, But Santi Moreno has probably been the best offensive player for Dallas so far when you look at everything all considered. The crowd hasn't been very happy with it for obvious reasons, but he has been kind of that connector. He just hasn't had anything quite to connect, especially on the attacking end.
Yeah, I don't know if he's been the best or certainly not a runaway favorite in that way, but he's been the most involved, and I think that is the game plan certainly for him to be the most involved attacking player until Petar Musa comes into the game later on. He does have the ability to link up, and the way that this sort of system has offered him the freedom to float around the field. He's finding the game, getting plenty of touches, and I think early on maybe the crowd leaning on him a little bit certainly was in his head, but as the half wore on, I think he cleaned things up, and he looks as likely as any to help Dallas and maybe find a second goal in the second half.
I think the more important thing that he's doing tonight is he's connecting the attack. He's really dropping deep a little bit. What we might see Musa doing a little bit more if he were in there. But I think Kappas and Kaike are doing a really good job of controlling the game a little bit deeper, but they still need somebody to connect the ball forward. And I think he's done talking about Santi Moreno, I think he's done a really good job of that, at least being willing to get on the ball. He's been sloppy a couple of times, but he's willing to accept the ball in tough spaces and then try to drive the attack forward out of the midfield.
And, Steve, it kind of feels like both teams are trying to execute a very similar plan, but when it comes to the actual execution of it, FC Dallas looks a little bit more polished of it because they've been doing it mainly all season, while Portland is trying this basically for the second game in a row with the interim coach, Jack Cassidy.
Yeah, look, we talked about how we don't know what this Portland Timbers team in evolution is going to look like. We know they're very good in transition, and I think Dallas, in the moments, there's only been a couple of them that Portland was able to get out and get on the run, and that's a lot about Dallas being good about controlling spaces, controlling tempo, controlling possession, mostly doing a pretty good job of that, and being patient with their possession. But the couple of times that Portland did get out on the break, Dallas was able to get 7, 8 guys back very quickly. We've seen some numbers, and just looking at some numbers during the break, and FC Dallas is they're chewing up a lot of ground. When we see about amount of ground covered, Dallas is up there in the numbers. So I think they're showing it again tonight that's a real defensive commitment.
Yeah, and I think the key defensively so far, I mean, obviously the Timbers' threat has really been on the outside, particularly their left side with Anthony and DaCosta. But when they've been able to get into the attack, they're looking for Kelsey in the middle. And Kelsey's coming off of 2 goals and an assist against Seattle. He's already having his best season for goal contributions. And he's been completely nullified by Uriguide and Shaq Moore, and not just in the box defending mode, but stepping out of the back line, being physical, reaching around, winning the ball back, and just keeping it away from Kevin Kelsey entirely. I think those two have been really excellent in the first half.
Before we look at second half adjustments, Ryan, do MLS referees have like some sort of Herman Johansson blindness, like bird blindness for Langston Fury? I don't fully understand what's happening there. He gets shoved in the box by Kevin Kelsey, would look to be in the throat, which is a very dangerous play, no review. And then he gets counted off for 3 fouls when I think we all only counted 2. It's his odyssey with MLS referees continues.
Yeah, I think it's not just him, though. I think there's been some frustrations on the Dallas side for sort of bailout calls, as you could call them. I think that Alexis de Silva has given Portland, where the Timbers took a bad touch and Dallas is able to step in and win it back. And as soon as they look to go the other way, the Timbers player who lost the ball's down, holding their face or just yelling towards the referee. And so far they've been able to get those calls, and that's kept Dallas from having more counterattacking opportunities, because I think they've been really good at sort of sitting in their shape and then pouncing when there's that moment to go. And so far, unfortunately, a lot of those moments have been nullified by the whistle.
To be fair, I guess you and I missed it. The stats do have him with 3 fouls. But I still think that Kevin Kelsey hit him in the throat.
I tend to agree. As we look at second half adjustments here, gentlemen, Steve, I'll start with you. Obviously, one of the keys to winning games, especially when a 1-0, is getting that second goal. How do you think Dallas goes about trying to find goal number 2 tonight?
Well, I mean, the conversation changes a lot with Delgado's late goal there just before the break. But right now, I don't see a lot of changes necessary. I think Valiente and Delgado on the outside are doing a lot of good defensive work. Kappas and Kaike in the middle are controlling the game. They were a little bit better maybe the first 20, 25 minutes, but now they have an even better ability to do it because they have a little bit of a lead. The change that's coming will be Musa at some point. Whether it's for Logan Farrington or Santi Moreno, we'll have to see.
Or maybe it'll be Sam Sarver at some point to go and
Oh,
find
dear.
that second goal with the speed on the
A
counterattack.
little bit later, maybe, yeah.
If Portland continue to push numbers forward. I think on the Portland side, you're looking at Christopher Velda maybe getting into this game sooner rather than later, just because I think he's the one player they have alongside maybe David DaCosta that can sort of pick apart a team that's sitting deeper.
Meanwhile, on the defensive end, Ryan, I'm curious, now that Dallas is holding on to a lead, do you think there's any consideration to bringing in someone like Sebastian Ibiaga, who's kind of become the defensive closer, maybe pushing Shaq Moore out to right back, and that way you have Ibiaga and Shaq Moore kind of more accustomed leadership here in MLS on the field?
Maybe later in the game. I think you definitely come out, if there's any changes to be made, then you make them in terms of injuries or fitness concerns, but otherwise you stick with the team that put in a really solid first half, and that's certainly an option you have, whether you want to go to 3 center backs or just bring in Ibiaga for his experience late in the game.
I do like that suggestion, though, because the only success that Portland had in the final third was through combinations between DaCosta and Anthony over there on that side. And at some point, I think Herman Johansson, especially if he picks up another foul, a yellow card, he might have a hard time chasing around Anthony over there.
I just think yes, but I think you might be breaking too many things and trying to fix one thing, right? Because I think then you would shift Urguide to the left side. Shaq Moore goes out to right back. You've got Ibiaga in at center back. You've now changed 3 of your back 4, whether in personnel or position.
Yep.
I will say the counter to that is those are all natural positions for all 3 of those guys.
That is true. They're all versatile, and they can all play there.
Yeah, and apparently there's no position Shaq Moore cannot play, as we've learned.
all just talked ourselves in circles.
Yeah,
that's what we're good at. That's what we do here on the radio. I do want to say before we hit the break here, 2 potential returns tonight based on the bench availability. Anderson Julio and Bernard Kamungo, both available for Eric Quill. I'm not sure what scenario they would come in, but both were injured during the first half of the season, and they could make their FC Dallas returns tonight out of the World Cup break. But that's going to do it for our halftime show. We will take a break. When we return, Ryan and Steve will get you ready for the second half of action. You're listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
It's a moment when I show up, God, I'm saying wow.
Welcome to the world of WinStar, the casino of FC Dallas, where 10,000 electronic games, plus roulette, craps, and blackjack is just the beginning. Get lost in our 2-story luxury spa, rest in one of our vast hotel towers, and catch the biggest names in music and comedy at the spectacular Lucas Oil Live, all just 1 hour north of DFW. So come live in the wow at the world of WinStar.
God, I'm saying wow.
Want to hear something incredible? That's Eleanor. Just 10 hours after being born, Eleanor was airlifted to Children's Health and met by our expert team trained in cardiac and critical care. At 4 days old, she received a stent to help her heart pump blood to the rest of her body. And today, she's a happy, healthy 1-year-old. That's incredible. That's Children's Health. Incredible together.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
We welcome you back as Dallas is on the road at Providence Park in Portland, Oregon, and they lead 1-0. Patterson Delgado strike in first half stoppage time. The difference between the two teams who have made their way out of the locker room and are just about set to resume play as Dallas returns to MLS action after 60 days away for the World Cup, and so far so good for the Hoops. As Logan Farrington is in conversation right now with Herman Johansson, we're not spotting any changes coming out of the locker room as perhaps we'd expect with the team in front 1-0 for Eric Quill. Dallas will attack from left to right in this second half. From our broadcast vantage point, Portland will attack from right to left.
I don't know how it portends for things tonight, but some weird results around Major League Soccer. Weird, maybe Kansas City over Minnesota. A little bit of a surprise there. Kansas City 2-1. That was in Kansas City. Austin keeping Seattle on the back foot. 3-1 down in Central Texas over the Sounders.
The team that you were 60 days ago, not necessarily the team you are when play resumes tonight. But so far for Dallas, it's been a very similar performance to what made them so successful on the road in the first part of the season. For Eric Quill in general, 1.5 points per game on the road across his first 2 seasons, 9 wins, 8 draws, and 6 losses. Just an incredible turnaround for the team's road form from what we'd seen in previous seasons. And it's a good thing because this is the 3rd game of 9 straight away from home as the referee's out onto the field, checks his watch, sets his watch for the second half. And we are just about set to get underway. It'll be Portland's kickoff. Kevin Kelsey drops it back, and we are back rolling at Providence Park. It's sent long by Miller out towards the far sideline. Headed into the middle where Kappas sends it into the Portland half. Contested near the halfway line. Last touch out off Patrickson, the goal scorer. As there are no personnel changes for Portland either. And interim manager Jack Cassidy is keeping the seat warm for Marty Cifuentes, who was announced yesterday to be the next Portland Timbers head coach when his visa paperwork goes through. Portland advancing up the far sideline. Bassett in the right center channel. Plays it and now looks for the return pass. Nolan Norris makes the interception. Dribbling forward slowly. And now into midfield for Kayik. It's closed down by David DaCosta. Sent forward towards the halfway line. Farrington unable to hold it up. Now it's played ahead to Anthony, left center channel. Scooped the ball towards the top of the box. Bassett fires the shot up and over the bar. As the ball turned over and Portland quickly got it forward, but Bassett couldn't keep his shot down.
First time Dallas really caught out a little bit in transition there as Nolan Norris just couldn't quite hustle back into the play quickly enough. As Anthony makes a nice little entry ball into Cole Bassett. And Bassett on the spin, just hitting the ball on the right center channel at 18 yards. Just got up under it.
Timber Joey, look out. Nearly hit him. He's now behind the Dallas goal in the second half. Teams trade headers back and forth across the halfway line. Bassett lining it out to the far sideline. Now Norris back over the halfway line. And the last touch off the head of Brandon Byes put it out for a Dallas throw.
Well, somebody bring that ball down. I mean, 1982 called, and they want their English soccer back.
Eventually it'll be a throw in for Dallas. A few steps into the attacking half. Norris sends it up the far sideline ahead to Farrington, whose header is looking for Patrickson. Turns possession over. Anthony receives it just shy of the halfway line. The left winger today for Portland, playing it backwards. And now it's possession along the back line for the Timbers. DaCosta receives it shy of the halfway line on the left side. Goes down slowly by Valiente. Plays it backwards, and now it's a loose pass given away. Valiente quickly finds the pass ahead to Farrington. Turns away from the defender. Now combining with Moreno at the top of the D. Moreno, right-footed shot deflected. Cleared away with the head by Finn Sermon and spins back Moreno's way. Ike in the middle of the attacking half will play it backwards to the halfway line. And Dallas moving backwards now. Shaq Moore has it in the center circle. Ball out towards the right wing where Johansson was retreating, and then it'll spin behind for a goal kick. Miller with that loose pass moments ago, and that's been a real avenue to success for Dallas in the first half, just picking off some of those loose moments from the Timbers, who move it across the back line here in their own half. Miller this time lifts it in the air out to the left wing. Johansson and Anthony going towards it. It's Anthony who gets there first, and it's poked away by the Swede, out for a Portland throw in the attacking third. Forey looking for options, doesn't spot anything initially, then takes a short throw in and gets it back, and there's a coming together between Kelsey and Uragide, and this time it is spotted by the referee as
Uriguide was shoved down. It'll be a free kick for FC Dallas inside the 18-yard box, and it's not the first flashpoint for the young Venezuelan.
Yeah, and Alexis De Silva, the referee tonight, having a quick little word with Kelsey about some of the stuff that's happening off the ball.
Osaze Uriguide is in mid-season form in terms of bottling up Kevin Kelsey, but also getting under his skin. Daniel from the top of the Dallas box launches it long through the right center channel up to Farrington, who's flicked header towards Moreno, breaks back towards him, and now Kappas in the middle of the attacking half. Ahead for Moreno, who finds Patrickson at the top of the D. Another shot for Patrickson is up and over the bar. This one a couple steps further back than the effort which he scored with in the first half.
And nice job, though, by Moreno accepting that ball in traffic and then just scooping a little pass about 10 yards off to his left there for Patrickson Delgado.
Portland work it towards the halfway line, now back along the back line.
I mean, Moreno's been a little hit or miss tonight, but I'm really impressed with how much he's wanting the ball in there. He wants to show up against his old team.
Forey plays it back once again. Portland still in their own half, switching it out to the right side as they attack from right to left. 5 minutes into the second half. It's Ariel Lassiter who has it halfway into the Dallas end, playing it backwards for Bassett. And now back again into the Timbers end. Through the middle of the field, Kelsey with a little bit of a loose pass. Valiente got a piece of it. And now Dallas have possession just shy of the center circle, juggled between Kappas and Valiente. Ahead to Moreno, and he looked to return it to Valiente, who shoved off the ball there by Caicedo. Valiente, I believe the smallest player in the Dallas roster, just out-physicaled there. And it's won back quickly by Johansson for Dallas. He plays it ahead to Valiente. Nice first touch as Dallas combined through the middle. And now Moreno sprints through the center circle. Options either side. Santa Moreno slips it in behind for Farrington, who will keep it in play, but he's forced wide. From the byline on the far side, he plays it backwards to Norris.
Back to front, that was a great sequence for Dallas, though.
May still turn into something as Kaique lifts it into the box, and it breaks through for Pantemis. Both Moreno and Farrington making a run.
Kaique is so good in the middle of the park, and offense, defense.
There's a ball in behind for Anthony along the near side. Uriguide gets there and just drops the shoulder, shoving him off the ball. And Dallas keep possession. Kappas dribbles it past the halfway line, now stabs it ahead to Farrington. Farrington in the right center channel has his defender off balance, now at the top of the box, pokes it wide again for Kappas, and moves it backwards for Valiente. Just on the edge of the attacking third, moved into the middle for Kaique, who will play it backwards to the center circle for Shaq Moore.
What I was going to say a minute ago is Kaique, though, he gets a little impatient. He wants to play those entry balls, and he's not always the best player to do that.
Dallas working through tight quarters in the middle of the field. Norris had a lot of time and space on the far side with his arms outstretched. Didn't get a look there from his teammate. Here's a nice flick from Kaique in the middle to find Valiente. Right center channel now at the top of the box. Finds Moreno inside the area. His cutback ball looking for Farrington is cleared away. DaCosta now works it ahead to the Portland right. Back to DaCosta in his own half. It's a switching ball in the air. Kappas has a beat on it, and he nods it out of play for a Timbers throw.
And right now with Dallas, it looks like they've got a lot of guys that want to make the final pass, but nobody wants to take the final action after that pass.
Well, I know we've got somebody who will take that final shot waiting on the bench to come into this game at some point in the second half.
Yep.
Cole Bassett now driving forward up the left wing for Portland. Cuts onto his right foot, rolls it across the top of the box. Set back for Anthony, shot blocked by Moore. Breaks for DaCosta inside the D. Now out to the right side, Lassiter. 1v1 with Nolan Norris inside the box to the byline. His cross blocked behind for a corner. And Lassiter will head out to the far corner flag to take it himself.
That's Cole Bassett dribbling right at Herman Johansson a minute ago, and Johansson, he does a lot of things well. He just never looks totally comfortable isolated as a 1v1 defender, though.
Lassiter prepares to send the corner kick in. Bending ball off the left foot to the back post by challenging forward. It's off the head of Shaq Moore out towards the near side. Valiente gets there first. It's being chased backwards towards the byline. And he will get to his left foot and send it clear, but out to the corner kick taker, Ario Lassiter. Plays into the middle for Caicedo, middle of the Dallas half. Move backwards into the center circle. Now along the ground out towards the near side. Farrington hopping in the passing lane and then watching it run through. Anthony diving, looking for a free kick that the referee, I think, correctly spotted. Should not be a free kick. There was no contact, but again, if Anthony's diving and the referee spots it, that's causes for a potential yellow card. But I'll hop off the soapbox as there's a first change coming, and it's a double change for Portland as Caicedo is replaced by Chara and Lassiter is replaced by Christopher Velda. Designated player out of Norway who came to the Timbers in the summer window from Olympiacos last season. Will set up on the left side. Anthony goes across to the right. Chara takes the captain's armband. At 40 years of age in his 438th regular season appearance.
Caicedo was okay, but I think the job for Kaike and Kappas just got a little tougher.
Johansson's throw towards the halfway line is repelled by Diego Chara. Johansson then volleys it ahead. It'll be retrieved by Finn Sermon, who works it back to Pantemis inside the area. Valiente putting pressure on him. And the Portland goalkeeper lifts it past the halfway line. Norris wins the header. Again, teams exchanging headers for a moment, and Shaq Moore looking to hook it clear. Breaks kindly for Dallas. But from the halfway line, Diego Chara already up to the speed of the game, gets it out to Velda, who now comes in field. Kaike stabs it away from him as he got back in from behind there. Now in the center circle, Portland moving the ball just a little bit quicker out to the far side. Old Bassett.
And as you accurately predicted, Vela is going to play on the left. Anthony's going to go over the right. And that means that's Herman Johansson now on that yellow card against Vela over there.
I don't believe he didn't pick up the yellow card in the first half. He was warned against the yellow card in the first half.
I said that a while ago, and I said if he gets another foul, I think I was already presenting him somehow.
He's still got one
foul.
more in the tank, as it'll be a throw-in, and Portland looks like they're readying a long throw-in from the far sideline. It's hoisted into the area, arrives at the near side of the 6-yard box, headed away by Shaq Moore, back out to Brandon Bye to take another throw-in here for the Timbers. Launched long, once again, this time flicked on by Kelsey, headed away by Kaike, and then volleyed clear by Johansson. Up beyond the halfway line, Farrington gives chase. Sermon wins the header. And Chara picks up the second ball. He's then fouled by his old teammate, Santiago Moreno. Timbers take it quickly. He receives it shy of the halfway line on the Portland left, turning back under pressure from Valiente. Switch the point of attack out to the far side. Played through the right center channel. Shaq Moore read it all the way as Bassett made the run out of midfield. Shaq made the interception and sent it clear, but a lot of possession right now, swinging the way of the Timbers. As it's back with Finn Sermon at the halfway line, switching ball out to the near side. Is headed out of play by Herman Johansson. The near sideline for Velda, who's got Johansson on his back, and it's another one where Velda just takes a poor touch right out of bounds, and the referee bails him out with a whistle, and there is the yellow card for Herman Johansson. I'm just don't agree with the ticky-tack fouls that have gone against Dallas, because we haven't seen it reciprocated the other way.
We'll get another look at it here, but look, Johansson doesn't need to be putting both arms around his waist, but you're absolutely right. I mean, Vela takes a bad touch. He knows he's going out of bounds. He knows he's got both hands wrapped around him, so he just falls down. But Johansson does need to be careful about that.
Wide free kick for Velda on the near side. And Dallas sets their line a step into the 18-yard box. Daniel waiting inside the 6 in his Dallas debut. Velda off the right foot in towards the near post, and
It's going to be worked away towards Valiente, who was the one-man wall. And he does well to poke it forward for Moreno. Now out to the right side, just shy of halfway. Patrickson hits a switching ball out to Ka'ike, who's the left winger for the moment. He brought it down, goes down, and he may be hurt as he's slowed back to his feet, limping away from the play. Portland in possession in their own half, switching it across again to the near side for Forey, and DaCosta has it now. Switching it back across to the Portland right. Into the attacking half, Cole Bassett, and wide right for Anthony, now into the attacking third. Right on the hour mark, Diego Chara switching ball towards the near side, brought down by Velda, wide to the 18. Now a right-footed scooped cross into the middle. Big header won there by Shaq Moore. Still alive inside the area. Anthony being chased by Uriguirre to the corner flag on the far side. And it came last off of Osaze for a Portland throw. Corner.
You call it there. Shaq Moore with a really important header because there were 3 Portland Timber players about to aggressively attack that ball, and it was Shaq Moore that beat all 3 of them to it. And he got 3 or 4 big hand slaps right after that from teammates that acknowledge how important that header was.
It'll be Velda with the corner kick from the far side. Whipped in, outswinger off the right foot to the near post, and it's cleared away. And now Valiente will go on the dribble clear. Eventually dispossessed in the center circle, Diego Chara. Quickly back out to the Portland right. Anthony playing it back. Chara has it once again, just outside the center circle in the Dallas half. Lifted out to the Portland right. Bassett receives it. Patrickson 5 yards away defensively as Bassett now sprints into the middle. Ball in behind, looking for the run of Velda, who had sort of tried to backdoor cut against Santi Moreno, to use a basketball term, but the pass was overhit for Forey, and it's behind for a goal kick. And here comes a triple change for Eric Quill.
And it's not a moment too soon because I think the changes that Portland brought in a few minutes ago, the fresh legs have really changed the game a little bit, and now Dallas, I think, really needed to get some fresh legs in there. They're about to get 6 of them.
So Logan Farrington replaced by Petter Musa. Patrickson Delgado comes off for Bernard Kamungo, and Sam Sarver is into the game as well for Santi Moreno. So 3 attacking changes for Eric Quill, including the return of Bernard Kamungo. He's in for his 7th appearance of the season. And it's quickly worked out towards him on the left wing for Dallas. And now he drives into the middle. Back heel to Musa at the top of the box. Petter Musa's first touch as the pass across the top of the 18, just behind Ka'ike. And Portland work it clear as all the substitutes were immediately involved. Now Anthony drives forward on the right wing for Portland. Bassett goes on the overlap. Anthony dispossessed. Strong tackle from Ka'ike out for a corner. Sorry, out for a throw. I've got those 2 mixed up right now.
So the 3 changes are all like for like. Bernie Kamungo goes into that left side of midfield spot for Delgado. Then the 2 changes along the front line.
Sarver's on to try and help on this right side defensively for Dallas as well. Here's Velda coming off the left wing of Portland. Switching ball to Brandon By, the right back, bending ball in towards the back post, looking for Velda on the return. It bounces just beyond him. Now it's set back to him inside the area. Velda's shot to the near post, I think, was off the post, and the follow-up is as well. And Dallas living dangerously as Kevin Kelsey strikes the woodwork moments after Velda did the same.
No, the real danger was when Velda got the ball and got dribbling on the inside, dribbling toward the penalty spot, and hit his shot at about 14 yards, and that one takes 1 quick deflection before it hits off that left post, and then again, Kevin Kelsey can't beat that left post again.
Didn't see a slow motion replay. There's a decent chance that Daniel got a hand on the first effort. I think the second from Kelsey was a rocket off the post.
Yeah, Daniel down doing a little cramping, and I think that might be just a little bit of gamesmanship. Understanding that his team is sort of on the back foot right now.
Well, the game has completely changed on both sides with the changes, designated players coming into the game on either side. An all-star coming into the game for Dallas. Petter Musa will be in Charlotte a week from today for his 2nd all-star game. The long ball sent up to him. He flicks it on towards Sarver, who's dispossessed. Sliding tackle wins it back for Portland.
the change that Dallas really hasn't addressed is that Chara's in the game now, and that just gives Portland a little bit more midfield control. He's on the ball right now.
Dispossessed right on the base of the center circle, and Musa's onto it quickly. Musa into the circle with options either side. He's dribbling out towards the Dallas left and cuts a pass backwards for Nolan Norris. As Dallas continued to lead in the 65th minute. It's worked out towards the left side. Valiente was meant to leave it for Kamungo. Portland able to clear their lines, but it'll break for Shaq Moore back in the Dallas half. Daniel from the top of the Dallas box launches it well beyond the halfway line up to the right center channel. It's Miller against Sarver there. Miller wins the header. The second ball breaks for Velda, who will run up the left wing for Portland. DaCosta goes on the overlap and receives it now wide to the 18 on the near side. Johansson defending, faked across to the right foot. Now DaCosta back to the right once again. Tried a nice slip pass towards Velda, but Ka'ike able to intercept it and launch it clear out towards Musa. Musa turning on the halfway line and putting it in behind for the run of Kamungo. It's just overhit, and Pantemis out off his line, able to send it clear. Dallas keep possession near the halfway line with Kappas. And Petter Musa, just the immediate injection of quality into this game. Try to pass forward there for Kamungo. That was just off the mark. It's now along the back line in possession for Portland.
And Dallas has changed formations, or maybe they're just rotating a little bit, but sometimes it's Valiente further ahead than Sarver. Sometimes Sarver's further ahead than Valiente.
Middle of the attacking half, Bassett sprays a pass in the air out towards the near side. Sarver defending against Velda. Velda cuts to his right foot, now chops back towards his left and goes down, but he held up Sarver, and now it's to the byline. Cole Bassett, it's a ball off the near post, and it breaks for Kelsey to score. And it was just a mess.
Well, it was a mess, and I really believe that Velda, I think you called it, you saw it, that Velda held Sam Sarver right outside the penalty area right before all that happened. And of course, it would have been Sarver over there helping defensively on the right side. But as of right now, game is level.
Kelsey, who's been in the crosshairs, he had 2 goals against Seattle, but he hadn't had much joy in this one so far. He is on the receiving end of a fortuitous bounce. It was Johansson sliding to try and block the cross. It hit off the post and then broke right to Kevin Kelsey at the back post. Some Dallas players appealing for offside, but with the touch off of Johansson, that won't be an issue, and we restart play. And just surprised they didn't take a look at that, because Sarver was certainly impeded by Velda. And now Daniel's been fouled as he tried to clear it from the kickoff, and the momentum is certainly with the Timbers. And the fans at Providence Park are behind their team.
I think that little tactical change didn't really work out well for Dallas. I believe it is Sarver that's supposed to be playing over there on that right side of the midfield. And I think Valiente was doing a really good job over there of sort of helping keep Velda in check, and recognizing the areas where he needed to go and help Herman Johansson. And that time Sarver just either didn't get the work done, and Sarver was sort of creating the contact initially when we thought maybe he did get fouled after the fact.
Musa ahead to Sarver, now Valiente in the middle of the attacking third, in behind for Sam Sarver, squared it across, and Dallas regained the lead. It's Ka'ike, but it's been waved off for an offside call. As Musa started the move, Valiente picked out a pass into the 18 for Sarver, who showed really good composure to square that back for a teammate. And we'll have to consult a replay, see if it's the right call.
And so it's Valiente driving the ball forward, and yes, Sam Sarver is about a step offside as he receives the ball from Valiente. Maybe Valiente could have given that ball up just a little bit earlier.
This game is right on a knife's edge right now.
Uneventful first half, mostly is sort of changed a lot after the introduction of the subs on both sides.
Bassett hits a switching ball into the Dallas half and out towards the near side, where Velda will run at Johansson,
Tried to go beyond him, but this time Johansson, with help from Sarver, comes away with it. Sarver looks to sprint beyond Forey, goes down, and he was never going to get that call as he had tried to knock it and run. It's back out to Velde on the Portland left. Played infield for Bassett, returned to Velde at the top of the box. Curling shot, saved by Daniel. Rebound is just off target from Anthony.
The Dallas players are upset. I thought he should have got the call a minute ago, because there's no way you could say that as Sam Sarver, pushes the ball by. Was it? I'm not sure which Forey. Was it Forey? There's no way the ball was in playing distance when Forey knocks him off the ball or knocks him off his feet.
I guess in the context of the way the game has been called, you could certainly make an argument for it.
That was a really nice save by Daniel on that bending ball by Velde.
I'm not sure if they gave him, looks like they didn't give him a save on that earlier shot that also hit the post. So that is his first official save in a Dallas uniform, as there's now a whistle for a foul against Johansson, and he's been booked. He has to be careful.
So the foul is actually 10 yards ahead. He didn't. So Johansson sort of gets bailed out there because he's called a foul back there about 10 yards before.
Played 70 minutes now at Providence Park. Kelsey canceling out Patrickson's first half goal. Portland goes short along the ground out to Velde on the near side. His cross blocked by Sarver, back out to the halfway line. Portland work it out to their right side. Bassett slips on the ball and it presents possession back to Kappas. And Bassett then goes in and fouls Bernard Kamungo, who stayed down here for the moment.
Yeah, both players just sort of got their feet tangled up together. Definitely a foul on Bassett. He's reaches down immediately. He's apologetic to Bernard Kamungo, but sort of awkward. And Kamungo gets his feet caught up in the turf there. Get another good look at that save a minute ago from Daniel on Velde's bending ball.
Yeah, I think that it's a good diving save to his left, but I think even better was him getting up and getting across to close down the angle for the rebound, which Anthony ultimately put just off target.
Yeah, and good point. And he really pushes that ball well outside so that Anthony at least has to get out there and reach it at a bad angle.
Norris hits a ball into the middle of the field, brought down by Musa. Perfect first touch. Now he's dribbling out towards the Dallas left. At the top of the box, he sets it wide for Bernard Kamungo. Further wide for Nolan Norris. Bending ball into the area towards the back post. Sarver rising highest, heads it up off target. He jumped up and dunked on Forey at the back post, but couldn't steer that one on frame.
And he's not a big guy either. It's a nice cross from Nolan Norris into the back post. Sarver gets up.
Dallas, one of the teams with the most crosses in Major League Soccer in the first part of the season. Haven't seen as many today. As they win it back at the halfway line. Sarver plays it ahead to Musa, now set wide for Valiente in the attacking third. Johansson goes on the overlap. It's ahead to Musa at the top of the box. His slip pass back towards Valiente intercepted. And now Velde will sprint forward up the near side. Kaique sliding in, can't get a piece of it. And now Velde runs at Urigide towards the top of the box. Osaze defending. It's onto his left foot for Velde, and Osaze goes sliding in and wins it back. But he's gone down. I think he's holding his arm. Dallas in possession, working it through their defensive half, and the referee will stop play to go and check on Dallas number 3. Velde slow to get up as well.
Well, you sure hope Urigide is okay, but I tell you what, he was so good on that as Velde had all kinds of room to run right at him, and Urigide making sure that he showed Velde off to the left side. He knows Velde wants to cut in, use that right foot, and he just shows him left, and finally Velde takes it, and then Urigide steps in and wins the challenge, and Velde sort of falls over him.
And Kaique was also down away from the play after that sliding tackle attempt. And he's working with a member of the medical staff for Dallas as well. Remember, for everybody on the Dallas side, it's been 60 days since their last official match action. They had 3 warm-up friendlies
in the build-up to this game, but match fitness is a different beast sometimes.
Well, as they work on Uriguide there, remember Dallas has 3 subs already on the field, so if they have to bring in, say, Ibiaga here, that leaves them with 1. But Kaike is also sort of getting that knee looked at. Remember, what is about 7 or 8 minutes ago when he took a big ball over on the left side, and I think it was Cole Bassett that came in and sort of raked across his knee. I thought maybe Kaike should have been awarded a free kick there. You remember he got up limping and was sort of really favoring that right leg as he ran back.
And there's no Ramiro. He's the one player out through injury for Dallas. He's picked up a foot injury.
It'd be Ron Benjamin or Caleb Swan in there if Kaike had to come out. Could maybe slide Valiente back.
75th minute of a 1-1 game. Dallas scoring in the first half, stoppage time with Patterson Delgado from the top of the box. Kevin Kelsey with a very fortunate bounce off the post, breaking his way for the equalizer in this second half, his 3rd goal in 2 games. Uriguide's back to his feet.
That left post has seen a lot of action.
Both teams have struck it multiple times. Uriguide walking off now without any assistance, which is a good sign. I mentioned, Steve, 2 changes still available for Eric Quill if he needs them. Looks like Kaike will continue as well. Uriguide will be off the field. It's Dallas ball to restart play. Momentarily down to 10 men in the 76th minute. It's dropped at the feet of Shackmore. And we restart play. Norris momentarily playing as a center back, and Kamungo shifted down to play left back. He receives it from Daniel and plays it ahead to the feet of Musa, moving backwards from the halfway line. His pass just off the mark, breaks for Kelsey, and now out to the left center channel. Velda bearing down on the top of the box to his right foot, chops back. Musa trying to help back defensively as well. It's spinning inside the Dallas area, and eventually it's worked clear by Norris. Uriguide still waiting off the field. Chara in the middle of the Dallas half puts the ball out towards the right side, but gets the weight on the pass wrong, and it goes behind for a goal kick, which should allow Saze back into the action.
I mean, Musa has been so good, so technically perfect since he came in, and then that time he just actually got out of traffic pretty well, but then just didn't get the pass right.
He was quick to get back and try and help out, and it's not his strong suit, defending at the top of his own box, but sometimes that extra body can make the difference. As Daniel launches it past the halfway line, bouncing in the Timbers half, out to the left side for Dallas. Hooked clear up the far sideline by the Timbers, where Norris will send it into touch up towards halfway. Well, I thought it was towards the halfway line. It was about 30 yards into the Dallas half as Uriguide's back onto the field.
He's got a bandage on his right elbow now.
Ahead to Kelsey, set back for DaCosta in the central area. He goes down, fouled by Uriguide. In the right center channel, the Portland attack about 4 yards outside the box.
Yeah, it's a pretty good spot to hit a free kick from.
And Uriguide just stepping on the back of the heel of DaCosta there as he had just come back out into the action.
And he's got DaCosta sort of moving toward the corner flag there.
Looks like it'll be a little bit further away than where maybe the foul was actually committed, which can be advantageous for the free kick taker, gives them a little more space to work the ball up and down over the wall.
I'm thinking about 28 yards is what it looks like.
Daniel setting the wall right now for Dallas as DaCosta looks set to take it for Portland. DaCosta just the 1 goal on the season. Stutter step on the run up, and his shot off the wall breaks for Kelsey, who strikes the post on the follow-up, crashing into Daniel as Dallas again living dangerously. That one though, just another lucky break to Kelsey, who stayed down inside the area as play continues. on the Portland left. It's Velda. Sends the cross in off the left foot. Urigide's clearance is high and not well cleared. It's still inside the area. Bouncing ball and now chasing towards the corner flag. David DaCosta wins a corner kick. Kelsey's still down inside the 6.
Well, that initial free kick bounces off the wall, and it's Kelsey that just reacts first. But Daniel does a really good job of getting out really quickly and just making Kelsey at least think about a shot, and sort of tries to poke it by him, but he pokes it off that right post.
Referee's going to hold the corner kick for a quick conversation with Kelsey.
I think he's trying to usher him off the field.
Dallas have been on the receiving end of a couple of these moments. They've had to play down to 10 for a minute or so. And Kelsey's still shaken up. Clearly he's bent over at the waist. Referee calling over the training staff.
And DaCosta is sort of making the sub gesture, saying he needs to come out.
Kelsey now off the field. They still wait for the corner kick to be taken. Portland fans calling for VAR. I'm not sure there was any case to be made there. And it looks like Kelsey will be replaced. Felipe Mora is up off the bench, as well as Alexander Aravena, 2 forwards off the Portland bench for Jack Cassidy.
Kind of bad news for Dallas, because I thought Portland was throwing a lot of bodies forward as it was, and now they're adding on 2 forwards.
Saw Kelsey replace, waiting to see who else is coming off. It will be Cole Bassett, so midfielder replaced by another attacking player, Aravena, who scored his first MLS goal on Thursday in Seattle. 81st minute. 1-1 game, and Portland readies the corner from the near side. It'll be Velda to take. Whipped into the near post, and it's going to be deflected there by Kaique and eventually cleared.
I wouldn't mind seeing Dallas add one more defender here. Portland's throwing a lot of numbers forward.
Musa from deep in his own half hoists it forward up towards Kamungo, who's outnumbered there. Possession is back with Portland, though Kamungo making a nuisance of himself, making life difficult for the Timbers. They still keep hold of it, but eventually given away by Aravena. And now Kamungo from the halfway line. Sets it wide for Norris, who dribbles forward from left back. Going now all the way to the top of the box. He goes down, and it'll be a free kick for Dallas just outside the area as Norris just kept on going. Eventually fouled, it looked like maybe by Diego Chara.
Chara's smart. He'd seen enough of that, and he just said, I'm not letting you get into the penalty area. I'm going to foul you before you reach that stripe. And he did.
Norris splitting 3 defenders there and just continuing on with the dribble. And here's a really dangerous free kick opportunity. No Moreno, no Delgado to take it with the right foot. So I think it's going to be Petter Moose's ball.
I think the Portland defenders were thinking the same thing I was. Well, there's no way the Dallas left back is going to get this far forward at this point of the game. And he just, as you said, he just kept moving forward.
From just outside the corner of the 18 on the far side, Petter Musa or Joaquin Valiente. Musa, whose last game action was at the World Cup, will take this free kick for Dallas. Whipped off the right foot over the bar. I haven't seen him score a free kick so far. One of the things still left to check off the list in the Dallas shirt.
Yeah, that wasn't particularly close either. High and wide over on the right side.
'83rd minute has now come and gone. Does it feel like a game, Steve, where Dallas should be pushing to find the winning goal, or is this one where the pressure is headed their way and they need to make sure to come away with the point?
Yeah, I'm not really certain that the problem I see right now is Portland's pushing so many numbers forward, and Dallas just gets Ron Benjamin in the match. That, you know, they've it's for retiring Valiente too. They've got Sarver and Kamungo in the game right now, and they're both
Benjamin wins it back in the center circle. Now Uragide turns upfield in the right center channel. And his pass out towards Sarver is fortuitously going to deflect off of a Timbers player out for a Dallas throw as Sarver lost his footing.
Both teams, well, and then right behind him, Yemi Fora, just the ball just bounces off of him, so I think both teams are pretty tired. I mean, it has been a long break. Portland does have one game under their belt already, but maybe that's detrimental right now.
So Johansson was replaced by Ibiaga, and Benjamin was on for Joaquin Valiente, and now Ibiaga will take the throw in for Dallas, looking for a long throw in the 85th minute. Hoisted in towards the penalty spot, bounces inside the area. Benjamin flicks it on. Norris with the volley blocked and cleared away. And then the whistle goes for a free kick in the aftermath for Portland halfway into their own half. And that was a big opportunity there. Benjamin straight into the action off the Ibiaga long throw. I think really either team could come away with this game in the way it's swung back and forth. With the fresh legs on the field, both coaches making their full complement of 5 changes now. Chara has it just outside the center circle in the Dallas half. Played out to the Portland right and up the line for Anthony. He's headed towards the corner flag on the far side. His cross is cut back and intercepted by Kappas. Kamungo caught on it at the top of the box. Aravena inside the area, goes down. There's a shot caught by Daniel from Brandon Bai. As Kamungo maybe got the risk reward wrong there.
Yeah, you can't try to dribble out of your own penalty area there.
Now Shaq Moore making his way forward from right back, goes down, and it'll be a Dallas free kick. And that's the type of free kick Portland's been getting all night. Finally, one goes Dallas's way.
I think that's also a bailout call, but as you said, De Silva's been giving it all night.
So it's a free kick in the right center channel, about 20 to 25 yards into the attacking half for Dallas. Another chance to get the ball forward and look for a winning goal. Looking for 3 consecutive wins, although those first 2 wins feel like a long time ago now. Kappas will take the free kick. Bending ball into the area. Pantemis comes and makes the catch. He lands on top of Ron Benjamin, but holds on to it. Just overhit there for Christian Kappas.
Yeah, it's a floating ball.
And Dallas back in their shape. Portland will walk it forward to the halfway line.
Which, by the way, is now 5-4-1.
DaCosta coming off the left flank, combining with Chara, playing it backwards to the halfway line. Felipe Mora on as the number 9, is dropping deep here, combining on the right side. It's wide with Anthony. Back for Bai once again. Right-footed ball in from the far side is volleyed away by Norris. Retrieved near the halfway line and played up the near sideline by Portland. Forey testing the ball forward. Dallas with 3 numbers in the press here, and it's given away. Musa now bearing down at the top of the box. Petar Musa onto his right foot. Petar Musa back on the score sheet. Back from the World Cup. Dallas leads 2-1 at Providence Park. Your golden boot leader in Major League Soccer is Petar Musa.
Now it's calamity for Portland as they give the ball away and they give it to the wrong man. Calamity for Portland turns into joy for FC Dallas. They got to get it across the finish line, but I tell you what, you do not want to give Petar Musa. I told you a while ago, all of his touches so far have been perfect. One pass wasn't, but this time you give him the ball. He's still got 2 defenders to beat there. Carves out a little bit of space, pushes the ball to his right. Now he's got Pantemis right where he wants him. Still got a little bit of an angle to work with. Just shoots it low into the far post. What a guy to bring off the bench.
Yeah, the loose pass there gave it away. The Moose up against both center backs, taking them for a walk, going off to his right and then firing the low shot in, then cupping his ears towards the fans.
Getting taken down by Sam Sarver, and in
They had worked
celebration.
that one before. You know, he jumped up on the back once or twice, but maybe they're out of practice as Moose has been away over the 60-day break.
Well,
now,
still got to get it done here.
90 seconds plus stoppage time remaining. Sarver's back on it now. He's sprinting up the near sideline. Forey on his back, and he's running for the corner flag. Sarver tried to knock it out off of Forey, and it's behind for a goal kick as we're into the 90th minute now.
So right now it's Bernie Kamungo as a left back, Shaq Moore as a right back, and then across the middle on the back line.
Lifted forward at the top of the Dallas box. Bouncing ball brought down there and set wide for Velda. Up against Shaq Moore. He bends a right-footed ball in towards the back post. It's inside the 6. It's cleared away by Norris. And Musa fighting for it. 10 yards outside the Dallas box. He's fouled by Brandon Bai as he released the pass. And Bai is going to pick up a yellow card with Musa slow to get up.
Yeah, he got a lot of Musas. Musa was winning a ball there at the top of the penalty area. I'm going to finish resetting that Dallas back line for you. It's Ibiaga, Osaze, and Nolan Norris in the middle, and then a line of 4 in front of them, and Peter Musa up front for Dallas now.
Not a bad guy to bring off the bench, huh, Steve?
That's exactly right.
13 goals, 2 assists, and now 14 games, 12 of them from the start.
And if you joined us late, it's only because he was Peter Musa was given a break after the World Cup, and he only recently rejoined FC Dallas training. He's still obviously he's still the starter in there. 9 minutes.
9 minutes added on. That feels excessive for a half. We've seen some injuries and stoppages, but Dallas will have to navigate an extra 10% of this game as Portland send it clear up the far sideline. The last goal for Peter Musa came at the World Cup for Croatia against England on June 17th, and he's right back at it in a Dallas uniform just minutes after coming into the game. Possession in the defensive half for Portland, back to Pantemis at the top of the 6. Now he's going to bring it forward as Dallas drop their lines back to the halfway line. 1 minute of the 9 has now come and gone as it's worked up the near sideline. Forey combining with Velda, being forced back by Shaq Moore, who's been rock solid across 2 positions once again tonight. That's just about the Shaq Moore special at this point.
And I think he's the right choice to deal with Velda out there, who has been a problem, as he should be as a DP for Portland.
Just shy of the halfway line, Brandon Bai plays it into the attacking half on the Portland right. Anthony into the middle. Now back for Bai. Moved along the back line for the Timbers for Miller, who's had a couple of key mistakes in this game that have cost his team. As Portland working on the left side, Shaq Moore getting a piece of it, but it breaks for Velda. Now to the byline, cut back cross, finds Mora, and Mora scores to draw level at 2. Velda found a way to get past Shaq Moore, sneaking to the byline and cutting it back for Mora, who had all kinds of time to pick out the low finish.
Portland carved out a little bit of space along the left side there, and that left Dallas just absolutely scrambling. And you're right, nobody picks up Mora. It's Velda who's really been a dominant influence since coming into this game. He's the one that gets around Kayake, gets around the corner, centers the ball into Mora. Dallas has players back, but just nobody gets close enough to him.
And Shaq on the line, sliding to try and keep it out. It comes out off of him last. It will be Felipe Mora's goal in any case, but now we've got 6 minutes of the 9 to play. And we're back even at 2, and the game again could go in any direction from here.
Big swings of emotion on both sides, huh?
Kappas wins it back in the defensive half for Dallas, plays it forward looking for Kamungo just off the mark. And now Portland have it in the middle of the attacking half with Mora. Out to the near side for Velda, onto his right foot. Curling shot is blocked, deflected inside the area. And it's tracked down by Kayike, who brings it away from the Dallas 18. Plays it back out to the left side for Kamungo. Pass into the middle, looking for Musa, who just about gets there.
I know it's difficult because Portland's pressing, but Bernie Kamungo has to be better in possession.
And Chara fouls Sam Sarver. Referee needed to take a look there because Kaique was about to drive uncontested towards the back line, but it will be a yellow card for Diego Chara. Steve, any guesses on how many yellow cards that is now in the career for Diego Chara?
8,462.
124.
And as we all know, his superpower all along has been avoiding yellow cards, because he probably should have had a lot more than that. But a lot of respect for that guy, but I think the referees sometimes are a little indulgent with him on those cards.
So Kappas has the free kick. Played along the ground out to the right side for Shaq Moore. He's got it in the wide areas. He's bending a ball in towards Musa, brought down on the chest near the penalty spot, but couldn't get to the second ball. And it's hooked clear. Up to Velda on the left side for Portland. He runs into Sam Sarver, who's back to the second ball, and then wins another free kick. And the Dallas players arguing for further punishment towards Christopher Velda.
Well, they're arguing, first of all, it's a tough foul, and secondly, that the fouls are starting to mount up on Christopher Velda. And don't forget that it was Herman Johansson a while ago that was sort of gaining the referee's attention with too many fouls.
From just shy of the halfway line, Ibiaga launches it forward, again to the chest of Musa. This time he sets it down for Kaique. Out towards Kamungo, just under hit. Ball spinning back towards the top of the Portland box and is cleared away. Regained possession in the center circle. Christian Kappas fires it forward, again looking for Musa, again off the mark. Cleared away and retrieved by Ibiaga deep in his own half. Launch it up the right side for Dallas, ahead towards Sarver and Musa. Neither could get a piece of it. Uragide wins a header in the Dallas half, and it breaks for Musa in the attacking end. Pass ahead towards Sarver was just off the mark, and now Ibiaga has whistled for a foul in the center circle.
And right now the game's just about chaos. It's just about winning duels, just about winning balls in the air, and Ibiaga just picked up a quick yellow card. He won't mind.
Foul there against Felipe Mora, challenging for it in the air.
By the way, Sarver, Nolan Norris, and
it was Daniel and
Osaze are
all on yellow card warning. Yeah. None of them booked so far today. 3 minutes to play or so of second half stoppage time. Dallas scored in first half stoppage time, and we swung back and forth ever since. Launched long from the free kick into the Dallas 18, headed out towards the far side. Second ball into the area is cleared away by Uragide, stooping low to head it clear. From the center circle, it's played out to Velda once again. This time Musa's the one defending, and Velda skips past him into the area from the near side. Set back to the top of the box. Aravena's shot is blocked, and it breaks for Kamungo, who plays it quickly ahead to Sarver. First time pass is intercepted by Foray, who now sprints forward up the left side for Portland. Sarver the one back defending. Foray near the corner flag on the near side, gets a left foot through it. It breaks through the 6-yard box, and the whistle goes for a foul against Portland, as Mora crashed into Uragide, who had the positioning there.
Dallas' defensive shape is a little bit of a mess right now. They've just got to keep it together there, because you can't have Peter Moose out on the right side defending on an island.
To the final 2 minutes of stoppage time, Dallas will have a free kick inside their own box. And Daniel will send it long up towards Musa. Second ball is hooked away by DaCosta back into the Dallas half, spinning towards the sideline on the near side, and Ibiaga will watch it out for a throw. 90 seconds to play.
And they might add another one for the goal celebration.
Long throw up to Musa, chest down for Sarver. Sarver dispossessed there by Chara. And Portland have it back. Shy of the center circle, Miller fires it forward along the ground. Felipe Mora chased by Norris back into the Portland half, and now out to the right side, Anthony. Benjamin defending. Anthony turns and plays it backwards to Chara again. Rolled into the middle. Mora has made a real impact since coming on. Here's Aravena now in the left center channel. Plays it wide to Velda.
Wide to the 18 on the near side, up against Shackmore to the byline. Deflected cross up in the air, headed away by Uragide. Possession stays with the Timbers. The final minute of stoppage time. Wide once again to Velda. Shackmore stands there defensively as it's hooked in, headed away by Uragide, out of the box to the far side. Anthony scoots across to the top of the box, is headed away by Kappas. Foray now launches it back out to the Portland right. Foot race to try and keep it in play, and neither player will get there. It will be a goal kick, and now we're at the discretion of the referee. As we've played 9 minutes added on, is there time for anyone to find a winner? Whistle sounds, and that will do it. So Dallas led twice in this game, but ultimately unable to come away with the 3 points and snap that long winless streak in Providence Park. A second straight year with a 2-2 draw up in the Pacific Northwest, and they'll take that point with them to San Diego on Saturday. Steve, does this feel like a game where Dallas earned a point or potentially dropped a point or two?
Somewhere in between, but right there at the end, I mean, you could see that Portland was absolutely the more desperate team to go get the winning goal. So, you know, Dallas, I'm sure they're a little disappointed at giving up that late equalizer, but in the end, I think they can feel good about hanging on against a team that was pushing a lot of numbers forward.
Peter Musa off the bench to score in the second half, ultimately in a 2-2 draw tonight with the Portland Timbers as the points are shared. Thank you for tuning in with us throughout the 90 minutes, and stick around for our post-game show coverage. You've been listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
Hey campers, it's Jan from Toyota. This summer, we're headed to Camp Toyota, and the fun starts now! We're kicking things off by kicking up mud. Jump in, campers. We're going off-roading in a 4Runner. Next, we're heading to the hot springs in a RAV4. And finally, park your Tundras and Tacomas around the campfire because we're roasting marshmallows. Your summer starts here.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 1st. Toyota, let's go places.
UT Southwestern Medical Center in Dallas, Texas, where discoveries change lives. The spark of collaboration that fuels bold thinking in our labs. The spark of inspiration that motivates greatness in the next generation. And the spark of innovation that pushes the boundaries of today's care. At UT Southwestern, teamwork and talent combine to fuel discovery, education, and healing. UT Southwestern, the future of medicine sparks here.
This is Logan Farrington, striker for FC Dallas. Behind every goal, there's a team you don't always see. The ones keeping everything running, secure, connected, ready. That's General Informatics. From cybersecurity to smarter IT solutions, General Informatics powers FC Dallas with advanced technology support so we can stay focused on the game. General Informatics. Complex IT made simple.
After 90-plus minutes at Providence Park, it's honors even for FC Dallas and Portland Timbers 2-2 as Dallas remains in search of their first regular season win in the Rose City since 2016. Hello, everybody. It is the FC Dallas postgame show brought to you tonight by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Also brought to you this evening by UMB Bank. See how UMB can help you achieve your business goals. I'm your host, Sam Hale. I'll be joined in just a moment by the voices of tonight's contest, Ryan Figert and Steve Davis. But let's start first with your postgame highlights. It was scoreless until stoppage time in the first half when FC Dallas and Patrickson got the scoring started.
Nice work from Kappas to win it back, and now Valiente drives through the center circle in the middle of the field. Now checking his shoulders left and right, waits for help, and cuts it back to the top of the box. Patrickson with the shot, and Patrickson opens the scoring on the stroke of halftime.
Patrickson's third goal of the season. That made it 1-0 Dallas as we went into the second half break. But then it wouldn't last for long as Kevin Kelsey in the 66th minute would come in via basically calamity at the Dallas net. He would knock it in after a couple of clearance attempts. That made it 1-1 in the 66th minute from Portland striker. And then 22 minutes later, we thought it was the Golden Boot leader who would put Dallas ahead.
Forey testing the ball forward. Dallas with 3 numbers in the press here, and it's given away. Musa now bearing down at the top of the box. Petter Musa onto his right foot. Petter Musa back on the score sheet. Back from the World Cup. Dallas leads 2-1 at Providence Park. Your golden boot leader in Major League Soccer is Petter Musa.
13th goal in the season, and now undisputed golden boot leader Petter Musa gave Dallas the 2-1 lead in the 88th minute, but it was not to be as Felipe Mora once again with malfunction at the junction and the Dallas net made it 2-2 in the stoppage time, and that's where we finished up tonight from Providence Park. Let's get you tonight's post-game stats. Those are brought to you by UMB Bank. Possession went the way of the Timbers 62-38, 16 shots for Portland, 11 for Dallas, 4 of those on target for the Green and White, 3 for the Burn this evening. You had 2 saves tonight from Daniel in his debut, 1 save for James Pantemis, 13 fouls for Dallas, 12 of those for Portland, 3 yellow cards to the Timbers, 2 for FCD. Now let's bring in our commentary team for tonight. It was Ryan Figert. It was Steve Davis. And Ryan, I think you actually asked a very pertinent question to Steve, so I'm going to ask it to you. Is this a point gained or 2 points dropped tonight for FCD?
It's going to feel, I think, like 1 point dropped, which is not even possible in this scenario because I think, like Steve said, it's
I don't think
right
the math
in the
works
middle.
on that one, friend.
And I think they'll feel like they put in a good performance against a team who just absolutely beat the brakes off of Seattle on Thursday. They nullified them largely in the first half, and they bended but didn't break for a large portion of the second half. They got goals from Patrickson in the first half. Musa coming into this game really affected it in a positive way, even just outside of the goal that he scored. But anytime you score that late to take the lead, I think you're going to feel like you didn't do yourself a service by not coming away with 3 points. And this game actually really reminds me of the game that sort of set this whole renaissance of FC Dallas into motion around this time last year in San Jose when the team had been down, I think had 3 or 4 consecutive losses, and they went and played at San Jose, scored really late in the game to go up 2-1, and immediately went up the other end and conceded, ends up 2-2. What that tells me is this team can use this not just as proof of concept, we played well at a tough venue, but also as motivation to say, okay, we played well tonight, but not well enough to come away with 3 points. There's another level we need to hit, and obviously more Musa is going to make that a lot easier going forward as well.
I think if you turn that around a little bit and you ask who is the happier team in the locker room right now, I mean, Portland comes off a 5-1 win over their bitter rivals, and then they follow that up with a home performance where they don't get a win. Meanwhile, Dallas, you're a little disappointed that you didn't take advantage of that late lead. But again, Portland was really pushing numbers forward. And I don't think in the Dallas locker room right now they're feeling too badly about a game. I mean, at the end of at the final whistle, I see players drop. They're exhausted. This is their first game back. They don't really quite have that match fitness yet. So I don't think people are feeling too bad about a draw in there.
No, especially because if you draw your games on the road and you win at home, that's the traditional MLS logic or soccer logic in general. And Dallas went into a hostile environment tonight, as we heard for Santi Moreno specifically, a place they haven't won in 10 years in the regular season. You pull a point in your first match after 60 days, it kind of feels hard to complain too much, especially when you just don't know how these games are going to go.
Yeah, it's such a unique situation. I don't think we'll ever have a season like this in so many ways, but even Dallas's schedule being so unique from the rest of the league where they're playing on this long 9-game road stretch either side of the break, and this being just game 3 of this, this odyssey from stadium to stadium without much time sleeping in their own bed. To start it off with an overall, I think, a positive performance and getting some good individual performances as well. Even though you don't come away with the 3 points, I think you set yourself up well to continue to be confident on the road going into any venue. The next one up is San Diego away. It was one that treated Dallas particularly poorly last year, and they're probably their worst game of the entire season. So they've done well at going to these places. In the first part of the season, they snapped 3 decade-plus long winless streaks, and they were looking to do the same thing tonight. Nearly were able to do so. Unfortunately, conceding late, so it doesn't quite come off, but they're going to another place now where they haven't won. Now, San Diego, they've only played there once, but there are certainly some demons to be exercised, and I think they can take some confidence from what they did tonight.
I think what Dallas will be a little bit more disappointed in is just a couple of the late defensive breakdowns. letting Velda dribble onto his right foot on the inside, not picking up Felipe Mora. I think they'll be a little bit disappointed. They looked a little disorganized late in the game. You make 5 changes. You had tired players. I sort of get it, but I think they'll look at it and wish they would have just defended a little bit better in certain moments.
And I think, too, you saw maybe the lack of full match fitness come into play for somebody like Ka'ike, who we know probably has the best engine on the entire team in terms of his ability to run at high intensity for 90-plus minutes. And on the second goal they concede, he just doesn't quite get across in time to cover. He had done a great job doing that the entire game when it was Herman Johansson over there up against, whether it was Anthony or Velda. He had covered off well and made that 2v1. And just on that play, Shaq gets beat, and Ka'ike is just a step slow to get there. And I think if he's fresher, if he's maybe a couple games more in his legs than he has now, he's at least able to get over there and contest that cross. Instead, it's a really simple cutback for Mora, who had a lot of time to put that shot away.
And look, credit to Christopher Velda, because he really changed the game when he came in, and as he should, as one of their highly paid designated players.
That's a place I want to go to because it felt like this game really swung on the big substitutions for each side. In the 55th minute, in comes Christopher Velda and Diego Chara. And I think, Steve, you noted a couple minutes after that, Dallas kind of lost control of the midfield. So then 11 minutes later, here comes the triple change of Sarver, Kumungo, and Musa. And it felt like immediately Dallas took the momentum back after that. And obviously Musa ends up getting the goal about 20 minutes later. It just kind of felt like this was a very emotional, momentum-based game. It wasn't, especially in the end, it wasn't much about tactics. It was kind of about who had the gas. And if you look at it that way, the scoreline kind of feels like it was representative of what happened.
Yeah, well, we talked about it. That was one of our keys to the match, Dallas winning duels. I thought they did really well. I'll give you some numbers in a minute. I thought they did well at that, but as playing on the road on a warm night, what started as a warm night was still a fairly warm night as it went on. I think it got a little bit more difficult out there, so that was a little bit different. And and Chara comes into the game, and he was only effective for about 10 or 15 minutes, and he picks up a yellow card, and I think he even got a little tired out there. So sort of a strange game, like Ryan said a minute ago, and that things are going to be a little bit less settled, just like they are to open the season. They'll be a little bit less settled, then they'll settle into something a little more predictable as we go on. But this game at the end was just kind of chaos, and who's got just a little bit left, and I think Dallas had enough left because again at the end they were just trying to hold on to the tie.
And Ryan, you mentioned some of those individual performers that Dallas had, and there's a few I want to get to, but man, it's hard to ignore the impact that Petar Musa has. He comes on in the 66th minute. Immediately him, Kumungo, and Sarver almost come on for a goal themselves. They combine for a goal. But then in the end, it's Portland just kind of carelessly giving away a ball in their own defensive third. Musa just latches onto it. And there are few things in this world that feel more automatic than Musa scoring in that moment, and he does for his 13th and for the Golden Boot lead. Yeah,
it was great to see. I don't think there was any doubt that he was going to pick up where he left off, but if there was, maybe it came from, big emotional high, scoring at the World Cup, crashing out in such a dramatic way that Croatia did. But it seems like, he's rejuvenated, rested, and he looked a little bit angry to me tonight.
A little bit.
He, when he scores, he runs over, he's sort of gesturing towards the fans for Portland, and that's not necessarily always his MO. Usually he runs to the corner flag and it's big hugs with his teammates, but I think he came on and he felt like maybe he had a point to prove, and he was so technically excellent with nearly every touch that he had. You could tell that he was just head and shoulders above the guys he was up against in terms of just bringing down perfect first touch, turning away from pressure, finding teammates, and then when he's presented with that opportunity, we've seen it time and time again. I think he gets 3 to 5 of these per season now at this point consistently, where for whatever reason, maybe it's just his thundering hoof steps as a moose, or whether it's his aura or whatever it is. Moose steps. I'm not sure that's right either. The defenders hear it in the back of their mind, and they play a loose pass, and as soon as he's onto it, I think it's easy to say, okay, it's a bad mistake and it should have led to a goal. He still had a lot of work to do. He still had both center backs between him and the top of the box. Good running from Ron Benjamin to take one of those defenders away, and then it's him and against Kamal Miller in the open field, and he just absolutely took him for a ride. A couple hesitation to the left, back to his right, and perfect finish with power, low past the goalkeeper. He absolutely picked up where he left off, and we're talking about a season that is well on its way to history if he continues at this pace.
The goal obviously is the big moment, but you're right. He looked sharp. I mean, he plays 30 minutes, 29 minutes officially, probably a little bit more than that in real time. But 2 shots, 4 passes into the final third. He's got 3 recoveries, a couple of dribbles. He wins 4 of 5 of his aerial duels. He was just up for it tonight.
Yeah, and by the way, we have to acknowledge 6 is the number now. He is getting close to that number that nobody else has crossed, in franchise history. I feel like we need to get like a whiteboard or something where we can just, update the counter, because at this pace, he's going to get probably close.
That's like 2 games from now. If he starts, is guaranteed hat trick, and then.
I mean, that would be wonderful for me. If he wants to do it before he comes back on September 5th against Kansas City, that'd be just okay with me. But he is certainly on a heater right now, and a guy, Steve, that I think is probably not going to get the headlines tonight, but I think deserves some acknowledgement on the postgame show. I really liked this Nolan Norris game, and I feel like I'm saying that just about every other game at this point. It's not always flashy. It's not always, perfect, but it's very solid, and I think you can say he did his job tonight.
Yeah, fair, Sam, and I think we have to quit being surprised by it. I mean,
Maybe
I think he's, I think he can play competently as a center back, competently as a left back. Tonight, because of the way Portland was defending Dallas, he was able to get up the left side maybe a little bit more than he usually does. He had that late run where I didn't expect in that moment for FC Dallas's left back to just hold the ball and keep dribbling, but he kept dribbling, and finally Diego Chara said, well, you're not going to reach the penalty area, and that gave Chara a yellow card and Dallas a free kick. They didn't make much out of that one, but I think he was one of several good performances tonight. I think, though, the guys I would want to single out are the midfield duo of Ka'ike and Kappas. Both of them really, really good tonight. You're right, Ryan. I think Ka'ike got a little tired, and maybe on that last goal, maybe he could have gotten over a little quicker. But it's a lot of running that he's done out there. He's got 59 touches on the night, 7 defensive contributions. He's 5 of 7 on long balls. He's 4 of 6 on his duels. We talked about how important it was for FC Dallas to win their share of 50-50s. Kappas, I think, was even better. 71 touches. He's 83% on his passes. 7 defensive contributions. That includes 8 clearances and 4 header clearances. He's 2 of 2, so he gets into 2 ground duels, wins them both, 4 recoveries. Both of those guys just absolutely filling up the box sheet, and I think over the first 25 minutes, Dallas really controlled the midfield, lost it a little bit in there, but they're still, even if they're not controlling it, I think they still really did a great job of sort of limiting what DaCosta wants to do out there. He didn't really do much tonight. If you can push him out of the middle, you have a good chance to do something against Portland. Unfortunately, then Velda comes in and they started making some hay up the left side.
Yeah, and I think the duels stat is particularly impressive because of what Portland just did to Seattle, and I know that was why it was one of your keys to the game, but it was absolutely staggering. They won 58 duels compared to 31, and in the air they won 27-4 against the Sounders as they absolutely literally dunked on them with a 5-1 win. And Dallas came out and they won 55 compared to 45 tonight, and they won 19 aerial duels compared to 12. So they were absolutely up for the battle, and we know this team is up at the top of the league in terms of distance covered and high-intensity runs, and they're not going to be outworked on any given night at any stadium, and this was proof that that's going to continue into this next part of the season. My unsung hero of the night is Joaquin Valiente, and I think his impact was most evident when he came off the field. Obviously, he had the assist, which was important, leading to the Patrickson goal, but his defensive work, I think, is something that is going to absolutely fly under the radar because it's not flashy and it's not defensive work in the way that we've seen Diego Chara do it for, well over a decade now at this point, where he's winning tackles, he's breaking up attacks all the time. It's the defensive work that takes care of that left side of the opposition, makes sure that whoever their left winger is, they're going to be bottled up. They're going to always have to be up against 2 defenders. It's tireless running. And then it's the ability, when the ball turns over, to be tidy and combine and then provide some of that final third quality, which, I think we wanted to see more of, particularly in the first half. He wasn't seeing as much of the ball because we know what he can do, but it's a huge credit to him that he's so willing to be sacrificial with his work rate to help out Herman Johansson on that right side. And when the first change moved him into the middle, immediately Portland starts to get more joy on the left side. Then he sort of tires and comes off completely, and that joy continues, ultimately leading to the Portland equalizer where Velde gets in behind. So, I think Joaquin Valiente, unsung hero tonight for me, picks up the assist. Now he leads the team with 5 assists. And I think he probably leads the team in just about every running metric as well, right there alongside Kaique. Those guys are dogs.
No, I really agree. I think one of the things you look for, maybe in a winger or in an outside midfielder, as the ball goes to the weak side, that is the side away from them, in other words, how quickly do they tuck into the middle and sort of occupy that space, which allows those central midfielders to push over and support the defensive action that's going on that strong side with the ball over there, right? So Valiente is never out of position. He tucks in really reliably, and then, as you said, he goes back on his side when the ball is on his side, on the strong side. Now he's over helping out the right back or whoever is over there. He's never out of position, and I really think that's to his credit. And this is not Sam Sarver's fault, but Valiente sees the game better, so he's into the right spots a little quicker. Sarver is a little bit more, golden retriever-esque, where he's sort of chasing the ball around a little bit, so it pulls him out of position just a little bit. Then he runs back into position, but whereas Valiente sees the game a little quicker, so he's just there. He doesn't have to run into position because he's already there.
Just now imagining Sam Sarver, golden retriever anamorph, and I think I need to move on before my brain kind of
It's not hard to picture.
If he's a dog, he's a golden retriever, I think. Lovable and running all over the place.
It's not hard to picture. I'm just not sure how long I want to picture it is what I'm saying. Closing the book on Kappas, because I think absolutely he had a fantastic game. The importance of that is going to be doubled now because Ramiro having his foot injury, we don't know exactly his timeline at this rate. But we know that Eric Quill has said those are the two organizers, Kappas and Ramiro. So if the Capitao is out, it obviously falls to Kappas. The better form he can have, the more consistent form he can have, that's going to be a big help for Dallas as they move forward. A guy that probably is going to need to find some more consistent or maybe higher form, Ryan, I think might be Herman Johansson, because I know that obviously the MLS referee blindness that is affecting them in him is one thing.
It's an epidemic. It's week to week. It's city to city.
We might need to call the CDC. I don't know. I'll leave that to the federal officials. But even so, you just kind of look at his play. It's not that he's been bad in any way, but I do wonder if maybe he has hit the levels that was expected. Admittedly, you'd probably have to ask Eric Quill and company in confidence. But I'm not sure how I feel about that position right now. I'm curious your thoughts on it.
It feels like he's now shifted away from his natural position. He was brought to be a wingback, and Dallas started the season with wingbacks. And I think, just because they're playing 4-4-2 right now doesn't mean that formation is they're never going to go back to it, because now particularly Bernard Camun goes back. It's a club that they have in their bag depending on, who's fit, who's available. And I think we will see it at times in the second part of the season. But when he's playing as a traditional right back, it sort of doesn't highlight his strengths, which are going forward and his ability to stretch the field, and it highlights his weaknesses, which I think are 1v1 defending in the wide areas. He's really good at the halfway line. He can marshal a guy, keep him away from dangerous areas, but when he gets deeper into his own half, his lack of just that first step quickness that a lot of wingers have is what costs him in those 1v1 battles. When he's at the halfway line and he tries to win it, he doesn't. He can get back, because once he gets his stride going, he's faster than almost anybody, that he's up against. So it's just the deep block defending, which Dallas had to do a lot of tonight. When he's playing in the back four, he's up against some of the fastest players on the opposition team, and that doesn't always play to his strengths. So I think he's sort of still obviously struggling with the officiating, which I think is a frustration week in and week out, where he gets called with, sort of ticky-tack fouls, maybe because he's tall. We saw that with Musa when he first came to the league. You realize you can't really be putting your hands on guys at all, because they'll go down and they're going to give the foul whether it's worthy of a foul or not. Maybe there's still some learning to do for him. He's going to have to adjust, because clearly the referees aren't going to adjust to him, as we've seen. So I think all that to say, I think the positional swap to playing as the traditional right back doesn't really suit him. He can do it, and he can do it to a fine level, but it doesn't allow him to show his best qualities.
To me, the issues with the referee, though, I mean, yes, he needs to learn a little bit more about what he can get away with, but it's really on the other side. I mean, apparently you can put your foot right in his chest, you can hit him in the throat, and it's not a foul. I mean, I will take them being a little bit less lenient of him, in terms of calling fouls on him if they're giving it back on the other side. And, I think everybody recognizes the foot in the chest. Is that against Colorado?
Minnesota.
Is that Minnesota? That was a mistake. That should have been a red card. It was probably a red card if it doesn't happen in the first few minutes of the game. And tonight I was a little surprised that VAR didn't recommend Edwin Jurasevich and back in Arlington didn't recommend a review for the red card, because I think Kevin Kelsey hit him in the throat, and it's a red card.
Yeah, and there was a moment, too, in the first 10 minutes or so where Dallas took a corner short and bent the ball in towards the back post, and it was aimed for Osaze Arguide, who just sort of got tackled from behind, and that was another one that Portland then quickly takes the goal kick, and it sort of lost to history, but I wouldn't have hated to see a second look at that one. I don't even think we saw a replay of it.
Yeah, that one canceled out in my mind. I believe it was Anthony that got spun, or was it DaCosta that got spun a little bit by Valiente, and there's a little contact there. So I think those sort of cancel out a little bit. There was also a little Portland fans will tell you there was a little shout on the ball that bounced off the right post. It was Kelsey that snuck in there, sort of toe poked him by, so he got the shot off, but then he got cleared out by Daniel. So those to me balance out. But off the ball, striking a guy in the throat is a red card.
I completely agree there. As we kind of wind this thing to its general conclusion, we haven't talked about the debutant for Dallas tonight. That's Daniel in net. Only it ends up with 4 shots on target against. He ends up with 2 saves officially per the MLS stat pack. And it's one of those games that I feel like we've said this about every Dallas goalkeeper so far this year. Yes, he conceded 2 goals. I'm not sure if one or both would be his fault, and I'm really not sure what he could have done to make a substantial difference, which means I think he played just fine for what he was asked to do.
Yeah, I think neither one of the goals he can do much about. Particularly the first one is just incredibly unlucky for it to come off of Herman, who's trying to block the cross, come off the near post, go behind Daniel, and then all of a sudden, there's Kevin Kelsey, who almost missed it, by the way. He barely rolled it into.
I think he was so surprised he was there.
But I think, we saw one really good diving save to his left, and what I liked most about that save for Daniel was that he makes the big save, and he's immediately back to his feet because he pushed the rebound wide, but there was still a Portland player there in Anthony. And if he leaves the goal open, I think Anthony may score. But because he comes flying across and covers off the goal, Anthony has to try and, aim it as close as he can to inside the post, and he ends up shooting it wide. So that was a good moment for him. I'm still not convinced that he didn't get a piece of one of the other shots that came off the post in that sequence where Portland hit the post twice in a row. I think he gets a piece of the first one. I'll have to slow it down and take a look at the replay later on to confirm whether that's true or not. But in my head, he did get a piece of that one. I think it was a fine performance. I don't think it was going to be his best night in the Dallas shirt, but I don't think he actually had that much to do. Which feels weird. The post actually, I think, had more saves than he did. I think it hit off the post
was
3
the best
times.
of the 3 keepers tonight, let's
absolutely.
be honest.
So, yeah, one to build off of, not necessarily good or bad.
Well, I think, and obviously, again, this was the first game back after 60. Nobody's going to have their best game, and if they do, I'm not sure that's a good sign for anyone, even someone that has a very good performance. And, we've talked about it a little bit already. Petar Musa on 13 goals now. He does lead the Golden Boot race, although in kind of a strange way because the previous leader, Hugo Kuipers, was on 13, but he's no longer in MLS. He will play for Monterrey in Liga MX after Chicago transfers him out. They got some Polish guy named Robert. I don't know if he's any good or not. I guess we'll find out in due time, although I don't think Chicago had a very fun night at the office tonight as they played the Messi-less Miami to a 3-2 loss. By the way, Messi is in second place. So just like we all expected, Lionel Messi right behind Petar Musa.
Yeah, 2 World Cup stars.
Yep. Both teams that had. Hey, the Portland Timbers and the English national team share something. Petar Musa scored against both of them.
Yep, James Pantimis, Jordan Pickford,
same
same
guy.
Initials, same ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, Portland Timbers could easily make the semifinals of the World Cup. That's exactly what that means. All right, I know we're getting silly. That means we're getting near the end here. So before we close up shop and look ahead to Saturday night, do we have any final thoughts on FC Dallas 2, Portland Timbers 2?
Well, I would say that Ryan a minute ago said we don't know if Dallas will stick with this 4-4-2, if they go back to wingbacks. Since they moved to this 4-4-2 foundation, what they're doing right now, 4 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Most of those games on the road, so that's pretty good. And by the way, in those 6 games, they've scored 14 goals.
Holy cow.
That's real production right there.
Yeah, I think, there's been positive signs, and now as Musa builds his fitness back up, there's a chance to see him and Logan Farrington up front once again, the Perfect Barrington reunited. There's going to be options, once that happens. The one thing that I'm concerned about coming out of tonight and heading into Saturday in San Diego is just the midfield depth with no Ramiro, and we don't know the timeline, like you said, Sam. But, he was wearing a boot at the warm-up friendly against Orlando, so that's never a good sign. And just, Ron Benjamin, I think, has shown some good things this season, but he's shown those best moments when he's played out wide on the left. Christian Kappas and Kaique showed, I think, that they can be the starting guys going forward, but there's no one that's really proven behind them right now. And when Eric Will, if he felt like Kaique was tiring in this game, his best option was Caleb Swan. And I think that's a player who has a bright future, but he's not a player that's proven at this level just yet. So midfield depth is one that I'm circling and just keeping an eye on, as the fixtures are going to come thick and fast with Leagues Cup and having to make up for that 60-day break in the calendar. It's going to be tough on the legs, and Dallas is going to need to get some contributions in midfield, maybe from some unlikely sources.
And I will say, to give credit to Caleb Swan, Eric Quill spoke to the media before the restart, and he said the two players that stood out the most to him during that camp as they came back were Josh Torquato and Caleb Swan. So I guess he has some faith there. And something to watch on Kaique, he took a couple of really hard hits to the point where we weren't sure he was going to stay on after that first one, and he was limping a little bit. He took a couple of hard ones, so whether he was carrying around a little bit of a knock as he finished up there, and I think that's going to be something to monitor as we get towards Saturday night. It'll be a continuation of this just uber long road trip, and this time Dallas stays on the West Coast, and they will face off against the Chrome and Azul of San Diego. San Diego also played tonight, thankfully for Dallas, so it'll be a two-tire teams. But San Diego loses 1-0 to Colorado in just a weird night of MLS results. I can offer you Austin 3, Seattle 1, and apparently that one did not go super well. Jackson Reagan might be hurt or suspended. SKC beats Minnesota 2-1. That's a weird one. Cincinnati beats Vancouver 4-3. A pertinent one for Dallas.
Orlando City 4-0 over San Jose.
Yep, that one's important for Dallas. So is LAFC 3, RSL 1. That keeps RSL and Dallas kind of jockeying for that fourth place spot as we go through this road trip. But it'll be at 8:30 kickoff from Snapdragon Stadium on Saturday. So pregame here on the FC Dallas Radio Network will begin at 8 o'clock. But that's going to do it for tonight's postgame show. For Ryan Figert, for Steve Davis, I have been Sam Hale. You've been listening to FC Dallas Soccer, presented by Toyota, here on the FC Dallas Radio Network.
The preceding broadcast has been a presentation of the FC Dallas Radio Network.
You push your body hard in the name of fitness. Sure, it's for a good cause. But a good cause shouldn't mean sacrificing a good time. Michelob Ultra.